I had that timer spot on. Look at that. What's up, chat? We are here on a Wednesday D&D with our half asleep players and our awake players and the others and the that's me. What's up, chat? We're here. We're Wednesday. We're playing D&D, second episode of Lost Mines of Phandelver with our awesome cast here. We have over there Mr. Trashman, aka Xanxus Tallfellow, or Blue Man as he's been commonly known so far. Well, he's given his last name to the group. He's not given his first name, so they know him as Tall Man Blue Guy or Grumpy Old Prick, whichever works. Over in the far corner there with Mr. JJ Aussie Punk, aka Mr. Youngblood. And we have below me here, we got Mr. Grim Realities, Arcos Park, and last but not least, Eric Code, who, what, how, where, not a doctor. Just so we're clear. But anywho, we are here to continue our story from last week, which we will jump right into with the recap from last week. We will see some slight changes. I've added some mods in, guys, so there is some slight changes. Hopefully we don't have too many technological difficulties. But we should be good, hopefully. Anyway, last we left off, we met our group of adventurers as they met with Gungren Rockseeker and Sildar Hallwinter, who the night before had hired all of you to escort a wagon of goods and supplies to a mining town to the south called Phandelver. Many of you would be familiar with Phandelver and its rough and tumble reputation. Many of you are from the Neverwinter area, and you're familiar with Sword Coast as you all hail from there. After introductions, you set off along the high road, leaving the city of Waterdeep. One of your group was less than forthcoming with information, however, and seemed standoffish with most of you, well, pretty much all of you. Youngblood, however, attempting to extract information from the group. Rather talkative. This approach did not go down well with Tallfellow, and a little bit of confrontation was had between not all the group, but it was nothing serious, but enough to maybe cause a little tension within the group's makeup at this point. However, he did seem quite interested in the 10 gold that has been on offer to escort this wagon, so you can pretty much rest assured he'd be willing to see the tasks through to get that 10 gold. And speaking of gold, as you were traveling the high roads, Arcos, his ability to hear things maybe a little better than others with his rabbit ears, overheard a couple of would-be highwaymen, it seems, talking about potentially stealing from the group as they rested. But jumping the gun on them, manages during a short break along the high road to lighten their load, shall we say, lifting their coin purses and receiving himself a nice tidy little sum of coin. At the end of the day's travel, you found yourselves camping not too close, but in proximation to the coast itself, the sea air. Cool, but not cold. During the evening, which went without too many incidents, well, not incident much at all, in fact, but who, perched in the tree, managed to spy, as the sun rose, a pack of wolves that had taken refuge nearby, seemingly either not noticing or not caring that you were where you were, but it was a sizable pack, and he's passed that information on to the rest of the group. as a reference to maybe keep an eye out as you continue your travels. Potential danger, you never know. So we now rejoin our heroes, well, would-be heroes, potential heroes, may not be, who knows. But we rejoin you as you continue your trek on the high road, and now heading further southward, maybe half a day's travel before you reach the road known as, or the trail known as Triboar Trail, which will lead you towards Phandelver. So I'll turn back over to you as you start your traveling. The morning is a little dewy, like there's not much cloud in the sky, so there's a bit of dew, bit of condensation around, but nothing too major. You guys do have volume control of your own as well if things are too loud on the Foundry as well, so just let me know. So you can turn, I think for you it'll be ambient and playlist, which you can use that slider to adjust your volumes for yourselves. So I'll turn over to you as you start a new day. Back on the road, well rested.
Oh, I think I slept on a rock. Oh, my back. Oh, there it goes. There it goes.
You sure that wasn't because you little slip off the wagon?
Nah. Oh, yeah, no, we won't. We're not talking about that, Feathers. I'm gonna forget about it. I'm gonna let it go. It's a new day. Maybe we can make a go of this. I'm gonna try and behave myself. Now we're headed to Phandelver, you know. Should be good. We'll get there, we'll get paid. No dramas.
So, Blue Boy, how'd you sleep last night?
Remain silent.
Must have been a good sleep.
I mean, a bad sleep.
Yep.
He's still grumpy.
Yeah, you're not real chatty this morning, young blood. What happened?
A bug's told me off, so I thought it would shut up.
Don't listen to me, mate.
Apparently. Oh, I need to make friends, you know. We've got to work as a team, so I thought it would shut up. Won't be on for long, though. I can only hold my tongue for so long.
Some folk just aren't friendly.
Always keep your tongue out so you can hold it for longer.
Go for it.
That's a prime example there. Well, plenty of bandits and other stuff on this road. Maybe we'll get necked.
Mate.
Well, I'm going back on the wagon. I'm not walking.
Yeah, you lucky bastard.
I don't mind a bit of walking.
And with that, Barkos climbs back up onto the wagon, finds the comfy spot that he's had the day before, and plants his furry little butt back in the top of the wagon. So, is there anything else you guys wish to discuss before we proceed forth to the next section of your travels?
Hey, Blue Boy, get that bloody cow moving.
sorry.
Well, you were leading the cow before. What, are you going to give it a slap or a kick or a tickle? Just get it shifting along that road, dude.
How secure is our bunny person?
He's fairly well secure.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Yeah, it's not like the first time. He was still sort of finding his place, so he's fairly well secured, laid back, and he's watching you. Like I would feel after the previous days sort of encounters, he's very wary of what's going on around him.
Yeah.
In
So,
fact, I
do we
would say
wanna-
all of you are probably watching each other quite closely at this point.
Yeah, I just walk up to the rear of the ox and just slap it to get it moving a bit quicker.
Easily enough done. No need for an animal handling check for that. You give it a solid slap on the hind quarter, and it doesn't really seem to have too much of an effect. It moors and then sort of turns its head and back and forth, and you get the feeling that this creature is probably not young. It's not it definitely doesn't look like a young oxen. It's probably well past its prime, I would say. It's not going to move any faster than it already is. Its walking speed is its walking speed.
I'm pretty sure I can make
It's a
it go
good
faster.
brisk. It's a pretty good speed, but I don't know. I mean, it's pretty old. I mean, you could try. I mean, if you want to try something, then be my guest. The outcome may not be what you are hoping.
I get that. There's a lot of. No, I'm not doing it.
Hey, that's it. You try. You can do whatever you want to do, trash man. Well, tall fellow, blue man, whatever the hell you're gonna call yourself.
I was thinking about chucking grass. But
That's
no, I'm not.
completely up to you.
I'm good.
You good? So, unless there's anything else specific anyone wants to say, JJ, you were wanting to say something before, I believe, perhaps.
Yep, he's gonna walk up to Blue Man and go, "And here's some jokes."
What?
Some jokes. Maybe I can make you laugh. Some jokes.
Shakes his head and keeps walking.
We'll keep up with him. He'll say him anyway.
Give us Youngblood's joke.
Why was the musician kicked out of the tavern?
And
was
I'm remaining
barred.
silent.
That was actually pretty good.
Come on, Blue Man, that was funny, right? You got a little smile over there.
He's right. It's funny. Fucking bards.
Keep walking.
I got one more for you. What happened to the demon when his girlfriend joined the Holy Order? He got fiend-zoned.
Oh my god.
He's doing anything for you, Blue Man? Come on, you have to smile just a little bit. You'll just walk off.
Yeah.
I'll try something else later.
I'm giving JJ DM some inspiration for that because that was fucking good. So what that means, JJ, with the DM's inspiration, you can re-roll any D20 roll with that, and you keep it until you use it. That's the only inspiration that will carry over from game to game. So anything from channel points, you will not get. You have to use this session, but the DM's inspiration, if you don't use it this session, you'll still have it next session. So yeah, so any D20 roll that you fail, you can re-roll with DM's inspiration. Once you've used it, it's gone. So just either make a note of that to say that you've got DM's inspo, which I think is pretty cool. So with that, the jokes didn't seem to go down too well with the blue guy, and seemingly ignoring Youngblood, the group continues their journey. Finally coming to a, not so much a crossroads, but an area in the road where you can see a small rickety sign pointing off to the east, and it simply says Triboar Trail. It's not written gracefully, or it's not a really expensive sign. It's just an old hanging wooden sign, and you swing your oxen and your cart to the east and start along. Looks to be not a lesser traveled road, but it's not as well maintained as the high road. The high road is definitely a road that is used way more often by travelers and tradesmen, traders, the city watch, and all manner of people use the high road quite frequently. The Triboar Trail, however, is definitely a less traveled road. Not as well maintained, maybe a little narrower in some sections. In fact, it's almost like it goes into a small valley with high pitches in the roading on either side, which probably 6 or 7 feet high at times. You start to notice a slight incline in the road, as well as you seem to be going uphill, maybe. Which, you know, these areas around here, you got the Icefire Peak, you got the Sword Mountains, you've got quite a number of different hills and mountain ranges towards in and around Phandelver as well. So now that you've turned onto the road, knowing that you are heading to Phandelver, you know you maybe got a day and a half outside to reach Phandelver. Anything else you guys wish to discuss as you're traveling? Perhaps.
I'm a bit concerned about these ox. It sounds like he's got a pain in his gut. The way he keeps mooing and carrying on going up here.
Oh, he's just old, mate. It happens when you get old. You carry on. You don't shut up. He's just old.
Thought it might have been a bit of that grass that Blue Boy was giving him.
Bluegrass? What?
Well, yeah, well, you know, like Blue Guy's been sort of the head honcho running this cow along the road. And it's like, it just doesn't sound right.
It'll be fine. Hopefully it'll be fine. This trail looks a bit rough. Not much cause for tourists over in Phandelver, apparently.
Yeah, it's not a road to write home about.
Indeed, you would be correct. The road is a lot more rough in places. More potholes, which Arcos you would find probably a little uncomfortable up on the top of the wagon with supplies there, as the occasional pothole gets hit and the big rocks. Not huge, but enough to jostle this wagon. After all, it is just a supply wagon. It's not a comfortable coach with plush seating and suspension on the wheels. It's just a rickety old cart.
You're out there, Bugs? Bit bumpy up there, isn't it?
Sounds like it.
I mean, it's not as comfortable as it could be. I mean, if you got a pillow or something, I wouldn't say no.
Nah, I don't have a pillow, mate. I'll give you a piggyback if it helps.
Yeah, I don't know you well enough for that yet, mate. We'll see. We'll see.
All right.
So, as you travel, the banter seems to be much the same, back and forth between Who and Arcos and Youngblood, while Tallfellow remains outside of that conversation more often than not. The occasional grunt and nod, roll of his eyes. Definitely seems to want to keep to himself somewhat, but he seems to be leading the oxen fairly well. I mean, you're making reasonable time. You reach about midday, just after midday, when all of you, in fact, you start to notice again that slight incline in the trail, and the sides of the road start to steepen as you start heading towards a forested area. You've got a forest, a thick forest on both sides as the road starts to sort of dip into a little bit of a valley with steep roadsides. You've been on the Triboar Trail now for maybe, I don't know, half a day, 3/4 of a day, getting into sort of early afternoon. As you turn a bend, you come to a stop as something in the road up ahead catches your eye. And we're going to switch over to a new map. So you are all, so that you just come around this bend, and as you can see, if you scroll out a little bit, you'll be able to see what we can see here. You spy 2 dead horses laid out in the middle of the road. They're about sort of 40-50 feet ahead, but they're clearly dead. I mean, you can even hear the flies buzzing around the corpses. They've been dead for some time, it seems. Not a huge amount of time, but enough time where the flies have started to congregate. So you can move forward. You have unlocked you if you wish to move yourselves forward.
I'd like to stop the ox cart from going any further.
Okay, so you stop, you stand in front of the ox, you grab it's not sort of reins, but there's like a harness, and you slow them up enough to halt the wagon. And you're sort of looking around, and you can't really hear anything at this point, other than maybe a few birds in the trees, the sound of the flies, the ox's tail sort of swishing backwards and forwards, hitting the cart every now and again.
How deep is that?
So you're looking at 6 to 7 feet in places, sometimes 8. It's a reasonable sort of dip in the road.
Okay,
not easily climbed. It's quite steep on either side. What you can see from where you are is several arrows protruding from the corpses of these horses.
Well, that looks unfortunate, especially for the horses.
A bit stinky too.
We're going to have to move if we can get this ox cart through. But the fact that there's arrows in them, we need to check it out, see if whatever it did isn't around.
Yeah.
I vote who go for a fly.
It's probably not a bad option.
Yeah, smart idea.
Well, I could go to the top of one of the trees. Bit of a look.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Just ping the tree you want to go to, because I don't. I've got it set. You can't actually climb that at the moment, but I can put you up there. So
yeah.
just ping roughly. So literally just hold your left mouse button on whatever tree you want to go to. Okay.
Go on there.
So you flutter yourself up to a tree, the top of this tree, and you scan the area. You look around. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get you to make a perception check for me, please. So it's in the chat. So you just got to click on your dice. 15. That's a pretty good roll. So as you're looking around, you're looking down on top of these, because you're sort of 20-30 feet up into the tree. You've found yourself on a branch which is overhanging the road. You can see down over top of these horses. The arrows have black fletching on them, which is all of them have the same fletching, so that you've got an idea that whoever shot these arrows and there's several of them, it's either the same person or the same group of people, perhaps, you're not entirely sure. But you do recognize the Palomino, the white and brown horse, as the horse that your benefactor, in fact, had set off from Waterdeep a day or so before you. Looking over it, after recognizing that, looking over at the other horse, you're pretty certain that this horse was the horse that Sildar, Hallwinter, the human man, was riding. From where you are, you're not 100% certain, but you're pretty certain. You may have to get a slightly closer look to be able to determine for sure, but you're pretty certain those horses look really familiar to you. Seems that they still have their saddles and saddlebags attached.
So I'll relay down that I don't see anything else from where I'm perched up here, except for that information about, it could be the horses that was Sildar's and that, and they may want to sort of creep up. Just be careful and check them out just to confirm. But it's looking okay from where I am.
And let's slowly walk forward.
Yep. So you can put yourself where you want to be.
So I've gotten close enough, like slowly walking there, just looking back and forth. I'm going to investigate the horses.
Okay, so I will get you to do just that, Youngblood. I'll get you to click on that and roll your investigation. Oh, you could have just clicked the one in the chat, but that works just as well. 19. So with a 19 investigation, as you look over these horses, you're tall enough to lean right over and go through the saddles. The saddlebags are empty. Whatever was in them is gone. The saddles are stained in blood. Can't tell whether it's just the horse's blood or other blood at this point. But the horse itself, with that investigation check, is cold to the touch. So it's been dead for some time at least. You're not 100% sure how long, but it's cold to the touch.
You'll relay back. A lot of blood. It looks like the horse has been dead for a while. Nice and cold over here.
Thank you.
I've got ghost talking in the background.
Yeah, I'll relay that back about the blood everywhere and the horse been very cold, thinking it could be here for a couple of hours.
Arcos, Tallfellow, what are you guys doing hearing this information?
I'm staying with the ox and the cart, just in case it gets spooked or get attacked.
Arcos.
It's weird they'd leave the horses there.
It doesn't feel right because they're in the middle of the road. They're blocking our path, so it could be a trap ahead.
Yeah, if it's a trap, maybe we should just trip it, though.
Maybe a kidnapping if they're not around too.
Either way, we're going to have to move these horses.
I will get you all at this point. Second. In the chat. To roll a perception check together. Just waiting on.
In there. It's not coming up.
Right, I can.
Pretty sure it rolled a 4. Hang on. Okay, do it again.
That's right. I can do it. So, Arcos and Tallfellow, from your position, Who, you're up in the tree, you're still scanning around. Your perception from earlier was still high enough that this one doesn't really matter for you. You're looking down at the horses. You can see Youngblood going over the horse, and he's going through the saddlebags, and he's relayed that information up. And you're sort of looking around with the statement that Arcos made about this whole situation just doesn't seem right. You know that they're blocking the road. Something just doesn't feel right to you. So you're looking around looking for something. Tallfell and Arcos, you probably hear it first. You don't see anything at this point, but you hear the snapping of a branch over in this direction. And then you hear something similar further up on the same side you're at, but in the trees, in the thick, because even though looking at this particular map, the trees aren't overly thick, but this whole area is thick with trees and bushes. The grass is quite tall, so something could be easily hidden within. Whether it's animal or humanoid, you have no idea at this point, but there's definitely something there.
Okay, I'm gonna get down out of the tree and go to the opposite side of the
Okay, over there.
The horse to there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now you should have control over your own token. You should be able to do what you need to do. So you move to that side, and you definitely hear something up in the trees to your immediate left.
Like to clamber up on the cart if I can.
Yeah, you move yourself over towards there, or even just next to it, but you can climb up on the cart. The cart's not overly high off the ground, but it definitely gives you a slightly better view.
So yeah, over in that direction, I will look, see if I can see anything.
Can't see anything at this point. There's definitely something there. You're just not sure what.
So I'm going to yell out towards this one here.
Yep. What are you gonna say?
Come here. If there's anyone in there, get out. Come here. Bring it on.
You wait. Initially, you get no response. 30 seconds or so. Then you hear, not from the bush you were at, but back over where Tallfellow was looking, you hear, "Ah, fuck's sake, they've seen us! Get him!" And from both sides of the road, and in fact, in the same tree where you were just in, it seems, several goblins sort of appear through the branches, bows and such in hand. And we will roll initiative when I get you into combat. Give me 1 second. Now we'll get you guys all roll initiative, please. So, who hasn't rolled initiative? We've got Youngblood.
Hang on, I got to work out where I got to roll it here.
You can do it in the combat tracker, or you can do it from your sheet. Oh, all the dice have been rolled there. We got, looks like we got Arcos at the top of the initiative. So, Arcos, you get the initiative in this particular combat situation. These creatures are probably, from your position, you're looking at where you are on the road. You've got about 6 or 7 feet of steep, sort of semi-carved out natural terrain either side of the road. Again, difficult to climb, not impossible, but difficult to climb. You also have the trees. These goblins look like they're in the trees, so they're probably 30 or 40 feet off the road, at least, from where you are. So even when you're down at where Youngblood is, you've still got a reason, sort of at least a 30-foot range to reach them. So remember, guys, you'll have to target your creatures to attack them as well.
So I'm going to move to this side, and I'm going to try and climb up the side of that there, which I imagine will take me a bit.
That will, yeah. I mean, it'll only take sort of 10 feet of your movement, but I will need to get you to roll an athletics check for me, just to see.
Not super good at all that stuff.
Let's see if we can get the old athletics rolling there. I mean, I can bring it up in the chat, whatever's easiest for you guys. So it's not bad. That's pretty good. So you move yourself over there and you grab onto an old tree root and bits of grass, and you manage to pull yourself up that sort of 10 or so feet, which I will move you up to there. So that will cost you at least 10 feet of your movement. I would say from where you were to there and up to there is probably costing you your whole movement for this turn. Bonus actions up to you.
I'm gonna hide.
Bonus action,
And
hide.
hope they didn't see me. Yep.
So you've got again, like I said, the grass is quite long here. You're short enough. You got trees and bushes. So I'll get a stealth check, stealth roll from you, please.
Yep.
That's pretty good. As far as you are aware, you are hidden.
All right, so now I'll leave it there.
You'll leave it there. That is your turn. Next up is this goblin. And this goblin here, looking down from where he is sort of surveying the situation. And sort of goes, "Ah, I got one!" And fires his short bow at you, Youngblood. Unfortunately misses you, so you take no damage. You hear him say, "Damn it, I missed him! You get him!" And that is the end of his turn. Tall fellow, it is now your turn. As you've seen Arcos sort of dive across the road, clamber up the side of the road here, and has seemingly disappeared into the shrubbery. So at the moment you can no longer see him, but you know roughly where he's sort of gone up into this area. You've seen the goblin in the tree sort of lean out of the tree and fire a bow down at your friend or your companion, not so much friend, but companion, and has missed with an arrow, however.
I grab out my crossbow, aim for that one.
Yep.
That one.
19 does hit. And
On.
he is killed outright. As you line up your shot, you're pretty handy with a bow. You line up your shot, and it catches
not
him.
a bow, crossbow.
Crossbow. Still crossbow. Draw it back, hold it up, take steady aim, and you get him right just below the chin and the neck. And he falls out of the tree, as he falls dead, and you go, splat.
And that's my turn.
That is your turn, so I will leave that one there. He is dead, even though it hasn't marked him with my dead splatter, but he's definitely dead. That is your turn. You hear, "I'm gonna get you for that, big blue man. Get him!" Youngblood, it is your turn. So from where you're positioned there, JJ, you've got one here up in a tree, and you got two here in a tree as well. Too far away for a melee attack, however. They're quite high up in the tree.
If I go to the edge, how close am I to the tree? To like the edge
You're like 7-8 feet off from the bottom, from the ground to the top of the ledge, and then the tree's about 20 or 30 feet tall. They're about 30 feet up in the tree. So that even if you get to the edge, you're still going to be at least sort of 25 feet away from them.
From the edge, could I wrap my whip around the tree?
You could. So you are intending to use the whip to aid you to get up?
Shake the tree.
Are you going to try and shake the tree?
Shake
I
it.
would say. Okay, so give me a roll to hit with your whip. Ooh. Just give me a d20. Just give me a straight d20 roll off the bottom of the chat there for a second. And we'll add your strength modifier, which is +3. So just down the bottom, you'll see your hover over, you'll see the d20 down there. And 8 + 3 is 11. So with an 11, I would say it's a tree. It's not hard to hit. So you grab your whip out and you go whoosh, and it wraps around that tree and wraps around itself. So now it's a good sized tree. So now we're going to need a strength check from you. I'll get this up in the chat. This will be really easy. So where is it? Strength check. There we go. So you just be able to click the dice in the chat there. With a 13. So with a 13, you yank on that whip, trying to shake the tree. And it starts to wobble a little bit. Wobbling enough that I'm going to get these guys to make a strength save. And they both pass. It's not shaking it huge amounts that's going to fling them out of the tree, but it's enough to force them to hang on, which may give them a disadvantage on their next turn, perhaps. We will see. So you've definitely got the whip around the tree. So you've got a couple of options on your next turn. You can either use that to climb up, or you can give it another shake. So that is pretty much your turn, I would say.
Yep.
Next up is this guy over here, this goblin. He's looking down, he's looking at you, and he's going to take a shot at you with his short bow, which misses as well. And he's cursing. He's really cursing under his breath. He's not happy. It is now his mate's turn. He's going to shoot at you, Youngblood, because you're shaking the shit out of his tree. He's not happy. He's going to take a shot at you, but it will be at disadvantage, which will miss. It is now whose turn?
Okay.
It is your turn.
I'm going to attack that guy there.
Are you going to attack him with a ranged weapon, or are you going to fly up there and attack him melee?
I'm going to attack him with Toll of the Dead.
Okay, target him. So, yeah, make sure you target him first, so the spell should work, hopefully. So you should be able to just left click on him, I believe, or alt click.
Might be alt click.
Yep, there we go.
There we go, alt click. Because it's changed since before it used to.
Yeah. So you're going to hit him with a Toll of the Dead. So cast your spell, sir. So Toll of the Dead needs to make a wisdom save, I believe. Oh, no, it's a roll to hit. No, it is a wisdom save.
Yeah, it's a wisdom save.
So wisdom save. He's not very wise. And Toll of the Dead rings out. And the goblin grabs his head in pain. Rah! And falls as he does so out of the tree. Splat. Dead. Right next to you. Is that your turn, who? Or you want to move? Because you still have movement.
These two are dead on this side, so it's only two.
We've only got two left up here. Yep, up in that tree.
I'm gonna stay where I am.
You can stay where you are? No worries. So that's
Yeah,
your
I'll stay where I
turn.
am. It's my
No
turn.
problem. Back to the top of the initiative order with Arcos. You are, as far as you're aware, Sir Hidden.
Yep. So I would like to move my full movement to. Oh god. Trying to move through a wall. Oh, won't let me move through the thing.
Hang on. Because of the where the walls are. So where are you wanting to move?
Here.
30 feet should get you there easily enough. Bye, pass easy. And I would say with that stealth check you had before, but based on these guys' passives, yeah, you're as far as you're aware, they haven't seen you.
Can I use my action to start climbing the tree?
You can. I would say, just 1 second. So you can definitely start climbing the tree. We will say, give us one of them to start climbing the tree.
Don't screw me, Foundry.
Pretty good. It's not bad. You start making your way up the tree. And I would say with your stealth roll, if you want to use your whole action to climb, I would give you the entirety to get to the branches directly below them.
Perfect.
And I would say with that stealth roll, you'd be pretty well okay to not be seen.
No worries. Well, that'll be me. I'll stay there.
So, let's then move on to the goblin. Oop, you ended your turn and I clicked let's go. Right, so next goblin is up. We're going to put you just down here within melee range. Going to attack you again, Youngblood. With his bow from the tree, yelling down at you. He's gonna kill you. You killed my friends. Damn, they're not very good at the old bow and arrow. They're not having too much time at this. He's gonna jump down 2 or 3 branches, which is gonna put him. He didn't even know where you are, Arcos, and he comes down past you, heading down to the ground. So you'll get an attack of opportunity as he comes down to the ground.
Okay.
So you can target him and roll an attack of opportunity, please.
Hang on.
You had him targeted.
Yeah. I just couldn't see it because of the yellow thing
Yeah,
around
yeah.
him. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, I might see if I can reduce the size of that.
Oof.
Ooh, oof, damn. Missing the goblin.
Whiffed it.
You,
I'm a pacifist at heart.
as you're sort of hanging on one hand and standing on a branch, you see him sort of bound down past you, out with the dagger or whatever weapon, short sword, and you just miss him just by mere inches as he drops down below you. Next up is Xanxus with Youngblood on board after that. So, Trashman, you are on the cart. You can see that now, sort of looking forward, you've seen Arcos sort of appear briefly and then up into the trees. You've lost sight of him again. You've seen Pooh cast something in the trees and watched this goblin fall out of the tree. Another one's dropped out of the trees heading towards Youngblood. What do you do?
Can I see the other one in the tree?
You can sort of see him as long as you've got range on what you're trying to do.
I think I should do. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's about 50.
Okay.
Well, you got to realize he's above you as well. So you got probably 70 feet from your position.
80 minimum.
Is that for your
for the
crossbow? Okay, so you got 80, 8160, I believe, on a crossbow. Or 8300.
80, then 320.
Okay. Yeah, so 80 within range without disadvantage, so you're good.
All right, firing the crossbow at that one.
Fire it away, good sir.
And 9.
That one will miss, unfortunately.
And That's that.
That's that. Youngblood, it is now your turn. You've got the whip around the base of the tree. You've seen this goblin drop out of the tree, and he's standing now just above you, 7 or 8 feet above you, looking down, snarling and hissing. The drool running from his lips down his chin, and just sort of, I'm gonna get you, big man. You killed my friends.
And I'm gonna let go of the tree and whip the goblin around the neck, pull him towards me.
I believe you have reach on it too. Just trying to.
Yeah, 10.
I think you got 10 feet on that. You do. So you do have reach. So he's within reach. So you can target him and whip away. Doing alt click to target him. So make sure you de-target your targets when you've attacked two guys, unless you're going to target them again next turn.
So just use my whip, yeah?
Yep, so just click on the whip. You're rolling normally, so... Whew, I think that is a miss. I believe so. So you retract your whip from the tree, bringing it back full length, and then cracking it forward. The crack rings out in this little hollow, but unfortunately the goblin sort of sways to one side and it cracks right next to his face, startling him for a second, and he just leans back and hisses at you. Anything else you wish to do? Bonus action, movement.
My turn, thanks.
That's your turn?
Yep.
Roger that. So next up, the goblin in the tree. He's sort of looking around. He's again going to target who in this particular instance with his short bow. Natural 20 does 8 points of piercing damage as an arrow flies from the tree who, striking you in the shoulder just above the left collarbone. It hurts, and you've taken 8 points of piercing damage. It hurt a lot. So you are bloodied. You are low health, just for reference. You are not feeling good at all. This has probably dropped you to one knee. It's very painful. And you hear the goblin, yeah, I got him! I got him! I got him! It is now your turn, Who.
Right, so with my movement, can I take off and fly back towards the ox cart, targeting
you certainly
and
can.
shoot my crossbow at the one on the top of the tree?
Yeah, you can shoot him and then move. The movement doesn't have to be first. So you can shoot, move, shoot. So you can target him and shoot him first before you move, and then move. You can move to that. We can move you back there easily enough.
Crossbow. Inventory. How do I fire?
Just click on the crossbow itself.
Oh, the dice,
Yeah,
in the corner.
That's the one.
It just looks a little bit different.
Yeah. You always click on the image of the weapon.
Yeah, so I rolled. It's not coming through.
It might take a little bit. Let's have a look here.
Could try again.
Try rolling again. It wasn't equipped. That's probably why it didn't work. I've just equipped it for you.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Yes, if it's not equipped, it won't roll.
All right.
With a single shot, once again, you turn facing the goblin that just shot an arrow at you, which has left you bleeding and hurt, and you look up at him with intensity. You turn your crossbow and you fire, striking him right in the throat, base of the Adam's, or just above the Adam's apple. And again, you hear the goblin scream as he falls from the tree. Falls past you, Arcos, almost knocking you out, in fact, as he falls past you through the branches, hitting the ground below you.
Okay, so what's the distance on this? Just
So if you hold control
Right,
down
so I'm going-
and then left click.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
So you can use your arrow
Uh-oh.
keys, or you can just drag your token to where you want to go.
Oh, going to same game pause to it.
Yes, that was my bad. I hit the button by accident.
Back to here.
No worries. And is that your turn?
And that's my turn.
That is your turn. We're back to the top of the initiative. Arcos, you're now up in the tree by yourself, as the goblin that was in the tree just fell out. And you have a goblin directly below you, about 20 feet.
Bloody hell, that's inconvenient. And he sort of like makes his way down, sort of like quietly grumbling to himself. And he's sort of like,
You've got more than enough movement to get there, so
he sort of pops down behind him. He's like, it's a nice day out here, isn't it, mate? Be a shame if you had to get necked. I reckon I saw that big green fella down there. He bit the head clean off a goblin just the other week. I'd stop
where'd you
if I
come
was
from?
you. Oh, up in the tree, mate. It's nice up there. Trying to persuade him to stop his tomfoolery, perhaps.
Intimidation or persuade? I'd say persuasion.
It's up to you.
I'd say roll persuasion, if that's what you're intending. He's sort of looking at you, looking
I'm being
around,
polite.
and you're not like. I mean, he probably sees you as intimidating, but I mean, you are being polite. 14.
Yeah, I got a +7. So.
Yeah, let's make it quick. Where is it? Well, I will show you this. This was his... Come on, reveal to everyone. Did it show you guys?
No, we are not worthy.
It says you rolled. It doesn't say what it was.
Well,
We are not worthy.
I just right-click to say reveal to everyone too. I know what that is. I'm going to roll that publicly from now on. Anywho, he rolled an 18 on his insight.
Hey.
So he looks at you, raises an eyebrow, and sort of says, okay, I'm out of here, and bolts past you into the trees.
It's a bleeding shame, it is.
It'll be up to you as he just scoots past you, trying to sort of dodge around you to disappear into the long grass and trees, whether you take the opportunity to attack here or not.
Yeah, give him a stab.
How do I unlock? I was gonna attack him. I didn't unlock on him.
You just click on him. You alt click on him again to untarget.
Oh, that's wrong. Fucking one.
you hit him. See, that one went splat, and the other ones didn't.
Yeah.
That's weird. Oh well.
Dick.
So, as he sort of darts past you, describe to us how Arcos attacks this poor goblin as he sort of screams past you, trying to get away, and how he is deceased now.
So, as I realise he's not going to listen, I sort of flip my dagger in my hand and sort of spin round on him and just sort of catch him in the back with the dagger. And I just sort of sigh loudly as he sort of like falls off the dagger.
Indeed. I don't really need to add much more to that. He slides off your dagger, thus ending the combat round. I'm going to award you guys some XP. We'll leave it at that. So you guys will get some automatic XP here. Sign. So you get 50 XP each, and the combat comes to a close. Stop our combat music. And you sort of survey the situation. Looking around, you've got 2 dead horses, several dead goblins. I'll turn it over to you for a moment. Who is looking exceptionally hurt, by the way? No need for perception checks, as it is quite obvious that he is in a lot of pain and is bleeding heavily.
Anyone got a bandage for Feathers? I'm going to check these two losers. I'll start rummaging through the bodies.
No worries. We'll get to that in just a second.
Yep.
Do you have a potion of light healing?
You've got a couple of potions, I believe.
I've got a couple there. Yeah.
So it's up to you whether you want to use a potion. You can obviously heal yourself with a spell. Yeah. So if you're going to use a potion, target yourself. And then you should be able to use the potion from your inventory, and it should roll the heal.
Yep. I'm going to use a potion.
Okay, so target yourself, or at least highlight yourself. I don't think you need to target yourself. I think you can just make sure you've clicked on your token to highlight it, and then roll the potion. Same as you roll an attack. Click on the
the little thingy
image. Here we go, and you've just received 6 points of healing. That's actually pretty good, and it auto healed. That's awesome.
Cool.
So you are looking much better. You're still a little damaged, but you grab the potion from your belt and you glug, you drop it back, and you feel the wound as you've removed the arrow. The wound starts to close and knit together. It's still got a bit of a scar there, and it's still a little tender, but it's, for the most part, it's no longer bleeding, and you have running no risk of bleeding out or infection. So you're doing reasonably well. As for rummaging through the bodies, Arcos, the two bodies at the top, I mean, they have a short bow each, and appears a couple of rusty old short swords. The bows aren't flashed; they're just a standard short bow. Looks like they've got only a few arrows left there. The arrows match the arrows in the horses, however, all fletched with black feathers. They don't appear to have any gold on them at all. But the one thing I will get you to do for me in just a second, when I find out where you are, there you are. I am going to get you to roll a... Oh, no we won't. That's a goblin and not you. Why did that do?
That's what happens when your players stand on the top of dead things.
It is. I'll have to move the goblin out of the way and select you. I will get you to roll that for me, please. I mean, I can make an actually now go splat probably. I'll do this. Here we go. So 15. With a 15, the one thing you notice is on the neck of this guy, as you're sort of checking out, and you can see where the bolt went through his throat and has obviously entered his brain. On the side of his neck, you see a small tattoo. It's a symbol you recognize. And I think you know what I mean by that.
You little fuckers.
It matches the letter that you carry.
Well, these guys were about as boring as they were alive now that they're dead. You alright over there, Feathers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, healed up a bit now.
Yeah, so you should be able to jump down from there on your own, Arcos. I got the wall going one way, so you should be able to step off there. You just can't climb up it.
I'll grab out my hemp rope.
Hopefully.
I got rope, don't I? Hang on. I had rope. I don't have rope.
You don't have rope?
I do have rope.
Hey,
yes.
So you should have rope.
Young blood. You reckon you'd be strong enough to drag one of those horses or off to the side of the road, mate?
We can find out, can't we? And he'll walk over and try to drag the horse.
I'll come over there for moral support.
Well, you could all do it together. Like, literally, you won't even need to be a strength check.
Right,
With all of you together, You'll be able to move the horses, which will allow you to continue your journey.
I was going to tie the rope to the legs and
Nah,
hoist it around a tree.
I mean, you could do that too. Like I said, for flavour, we could say that Tallfellow does just that. It uses the tree as a pulley system to drag the horses, and you'll manage to move these horses away from blocking your path. I will, however, now that you're you're sort of with the horses in a little bit more closely, I will get you all to roll a perception check for me, please. Got 3 passes and a failure. So Youngblood, you're more interested in moving the horses and probably fascinated with like this one's got like 9 arrows in it, man. It's like, whew.
You broke up, couldn't understand.
Yeah, just lost your audio big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix that big time.
Yeah, you sound perfect on stream though.
Yeah, it's just in here.
I can fix that.
Yeah, what's going on stream's pretty good, but that's just here.
That should fix it, hopefully.
Would watch on stream, but the only problem with that is there's like a,
it's like a
5-second delay.
10-year delay, yeah. That should fix it anyway. Yeah. I've just turned off RTX voice on this thing here. Anywho, so
sounding all smexy now, mate.
With that perception roll, Youngblood's the only one that doesn't notice this, but Youngblood, you're probably fascinated with the fact that this horse, the second horse that you dragged away off the road, has got like 12 arrows in it. I mean, it's like, why did they need 12 arrows? It was weird, but it's got 12 arrows sticking out of it. But who, Tallfellow and Arcos, you notice a very distinct, so as you're moving off to the left-hand side, you're looking around looking for more. You kind of just being a little wary, but you do notice a very distinctive blood trail which leads into the trees off to your left, off to this this direction over here. It sort of goes up the side of the hill here and sort of peters off a little bit, but it's a very distinctive, almost like a drag, like something's being dragged up the hill, and it was bleeding when it was dragged that way.
Well, you seem like a man who's moved a dead horse before. That was really efficient.
$10 points to Blue Man.
Looks like they might have dragged someone off.
Investigate that blood trail.
You certainly can. Did you tell them what your suspicions were of these horses, that you thought that they were Gundrins and Sildars?
Sildars, yes, I did. From up on the tree.
Just so that I'm aware, so you guys are all aware that that these horses are, and now that you're all looking at them, the horses are familiar to you. They definitely look like the horses that your benefactor left Waterdeep on. So are all of you wishing to investigate this blood trail, or are you wanting to stay and wait for who to come back?
No one's told me about the blood trail yet. I'm just still looking at these arrows.
Well, you'd hear it. You'd hear them talking about it. You're all close enough, you'd hear it.
Yeah, going to investigate.
Yeah, I'll join and investigate it.
Okay, so...
Hey, Feathers, would you mind giving me a lift?
Yeah, no problem.
So you got 2 choices here, guys. We can get a group investigation roll, or you can nominate one person to roll with advantage. Anybody? Anybody?
I'm really digging that group roll feature, so I'm down for that.
I reckon the group roll's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll do that.
Wow.
Tallfellow with a 21. 13. Youngblood not really seeing much at all. Notices the blood. Goes, oh, look, blood.
Youngblood, concentrate, will you?
I mean, you can see the blood. He's not sure that it's an actual trail. It goes in a direction.
I suppose he is young, inexperienced. Yeah. Go with that.
So as Arcos, you are lifted up the back embankment there, and the rest of you follow suit and help each other up the embankment. You eventually, obviously, make it up into this area here. We won't need to get you up there just yet. This is all sort of theatre of the mind stuff at the moment. You follow the blood trail for 30 or so feet, and then it starts to die out. But where it dies out, you can now see a distinct trail in the dirt. Goat trail, perhaps, or it's definitely a well-worn trail leading further into the forest.
Well, we better. I mean, if they've got the old man and the dwarf, we probably better, because we ain't going to get paid, are we?
Exactly. If we want to get paid, we gotta save them, basically.
Is that cart and the ox going to be all right down there, you reckon?
Those routes that are on the right-hand side of that walkway, though, are they in a position to be able to tie the ox off to that? So it can't run off?
That's a tree. But there's probably roots and stuff that you could tie the oxen off to. But you guys you'll also know this is not an untravelled road. People do travel this road. It does lead to the mining town of Phandelver-Ep. So you would probably have an understanding that, again, depending on how you would approach it and what you would do if you happened along a cart laden full of supplies and an oxen just sitting at the side of the road. I mean, maybe you would leave it knowing it was someone else's. Maybe you'd just take it. Who knows? Depends on your character. I would imagine, Arcos, you would understand that maybe there are some less lawful people out there. Tall fella, you certainly would. And I would assume even Youngblood, you'd understand that a free meal's a free meal.
Yeah. Maybe one of us should stay and guard that ox in the cart. I'm happy to do it if you want.
Do you know how far the camp is? Anybody?
No.
You were given a map, and you are all from the Sword Coast, so you would all have an understanding of roughly how far you are away from Phandelver-Ep. So you'd have an understanding. You're within half a day, maybe a day at the outside of Phandelver-Ep.
Guess we got to make a decision, gentlemen. Really isn't anywhere to put this ox and cart where it won't be seen. But if these fellas have got Gundren and old man, damn, I can never remember his name.
Humans,
they all look alike.
I should make you roll a history check, but
no, I did that on purpose. So I very well know his name. If they've got them and we sort of tarry about that, there'll be.
Well, look, I'm still hurting a bit from that last encounter. I can wait with the cart. I just want to investigate.
Or you could take the cart into Phandelver-Ep.
That too. You can rest up in Phandelver-Ep.
And we can go and investigate, come back if necessary.
Still got a day's trouble.
I just don't want to be out in this forest much longer than we have to be.
Arcos, roll an insight check for me, just quickly, please. pretty much the DC you needed. Your knowledge of the potential individuals that may or may not have your benefactor and his friend at this point, especially after seeing the symbol on the goblin, you have almost an intimate knowledge of what they get up to in some respects, and you know that Gundren was up to something. Like he didn't give any details when he hired you, but you know he was excited about something. You also have an understanding that dwarves are miners. That's potentially, and Phandelver is a mining town. So there's definitely a correlation with mining here somewhere. You also had probably not exact knowledge of what your former captain was up to, but it had something to do with mining also, maybe in some of the conversations you overheard. A map was often talked about, but then was hushed when prying eyes were discovered.
Way I see it, we've got two choices. We take that cart and we hope that maybe one of them made it to Phandelver and we get paid. Or we leave the cart here thinking maybe that they've nabbed him and taken him off in that direction and we save him, which I feel like they'd be more grateful for than if they're dead and we've got their Carter stuff. I vote we go follow the trail.
Yeah, I'm with bugs. We need to follow one. If we go deliver this cart, they're not even there. We're not going to get paid anyway, are we? We might at least get paid for saving their asses.
I vote take the cart there. Who? What's your vote?
We got to check the trail out.
So we abandoning the cart?
Yeah, well, you know, if we've got to work it off and replace the stuff, we replace the stuff. But at least we know if we save a life, we've saved a life.
How much stuff's in that cart?
There's a fair amount of stuff in there. Like, I mean, you're not exactly privy to exactly what's in there. You haven't really looked, but you know it's supplies. You know it's mining supplies. There'd be a reasonable gold value to it, which is why he was offering 10 gold apiece to transport it. So there's definitely a reasonable gold value to it.
Because I'm thinking we could always empty the cart.
You could?
Empty the cart, stash the goods somewhere, and hope to God that the cart is in one piece when we get back.
That's definitely an option.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So you're going to spend the time to empty the cart and stash the goods?
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good
so
plan.
what I'll do, it's going to probably take maybe, let's say 45 minutes to an hour to find a spot where you are pretty certain no one's going to discover them. Empty the cart, stash, and sort of mark it some way and so you know where to find it again. What I will get you all to do in this instance, we're going to get you to roll, I'll do this roll here again. We'll get you to roll a group stealth check. This is not for you, this is for how well you've hidden the goods. This is just going to be an average of your all 4 rolls. Some bloody high rolls in there, holy shit.
I think we hid them really well.
I think you hit them really well, even with who's 5. The offset of the 23 and the 19s
I was moral support. I helped.
who was definitely helped, but I would say that you're pretty happy with the spot you chose, and you're pretty happy that it's going to be well hidden, and you'll be able to return to find it later. I'm assuming you're going to tie the ox and the cart, the now empty cart, up somewhere so they can't run off. Well, so it can't run off, and leave it there for now. Which you are able to do so. And this is a good time to take a small break. We're about that time.
There.
What's that?
That's where I want to put the cart.
Where's over there? Thing is, I can do that. We can go
Parallel parking. Could you imagine trying to reverse park an ox and cart?
So, well, it's up to you guys. We've only been going for just over an hour. Do you guys want to take a break now, or leave it for another little bit?
I've got to go.
You've got to go where?
Yeah, I got to make a visit as well.
So we'll take a 5 or 10 minute break. We might take another small 5-minute break a little bit later on, depending on how we run, depending on how late we go. But we will take a small break there, guys, before we go any further. Be right back. Don't go anywhere, chat. We'll be back to have a little bit of a chat when we get back. But we will be right back. while waiting for those two, we'll head back to the chat and have a bit of a chat with chat. Chat with the chat. What's up, chat? We're back. Was waiting on Youngblood and Mr. Blue Man to come back, but welcome on in, everybody. Glad to see everyone tonight. A lot of regulars in the chat tonight. Glad to see you guys in. A lot of lurkers in there as well. We see the regular lurkers too. You guys are awesome. Cheers for dropping in. Janet the Koga with a follow. Iron Paul with a follow as well. Thank you so much for dropping in and following the Evldoa. Did we have a raid as well? Was that Supervish? Supervish was in? I don't know if we had a raid or not.
Yeah, we did.
Sure was.
We did? Awesome.
Sure was.
A three-person raid.
Oh, Supervish dropped in with the raid. Of course. There we go. So, Super, what's up? Hey, Holly, how you doing? My first view at D&D. This is awesome. Janet, oh, welcome on in. A newbie to the D&D world. So, as I say, my name is Evldoa. I'm from New Zealand. All these guys are from Aussie. We do a lot of TTRPG on this channel. Do map making and world building, monster making as well. As I said, Wednesday nights is our Lost Mines of Phandelver, which has just started. This is session 2. So we're only just getting into the story. On Sundays, currently we're running a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, which is almost coming to an end. Once that is completed, we'll be getting back into a homebrew campaign of mine, where I'll be DMing Paradigm 2 Shadow's Embrace, which I think is about 13 episodes in, which you'll see some familiar faces in that player group as well. Look, actually, as much as I love VTM, I'm really looking forward to getting back into P2 and telling that story, because it is in a world that I created with some very cool people in the player group. Should be a lot of fun. This one's going to be a lot of fun. This is my first time running Lost Mines. I'm hoping the players are enjoying it so far, and should be a lot more fun to come, hopefully. Just got to wait for JJ to come back before we get back in. So we've got a bit of time. Obviously, the cool thing about having all the players in Australia and not have any Kiwis at work early in the morning is we can run a little bit later than usual if we need to, because of the time difference, which is really cool.
What?
But you just shut up, Trash Man.
Trashy just wants to sleep.
He does. But yes, so again, as I said, a big thank you to everyone for hanging out tonight. As I say, the old faces, the new faces, welcome on in. We've got quite a few new faces in there, which is awesome to see. I'm not going to call you out if you're lurking, because that you're lurking for a reason. So I'll leave you there lurking in the background. Wait for JJ. Any questions from the chat while we're waiting for JJ to come back, or any questions from the players? Not pertaining to story, because I won't give you anything. Just in case. Because I know Trash would probably ask something like that.
Who, me?
Yes,
Never.
you. But yes, so
I'm back.
he's back. Look, he's back. Yes, Nutty and Mina do complimentary sound effects occasionally. Yes. AJ's back.
Nutty's drums.
Nutty's drums. Yep, totally. So with JJ being back, we can get back into it. So you have decided to stash your oxen cart and follow the trail, the blood trail leading from the road up to the trees. Further into the trees, the blood trail peters out, but it then moves into what can only be described as a goat path or some form of well-trodden path. The trail itself is just, it's weird. It moves for a bit, twists and turns. It's almost like someone's tried to mislead someone who's trying to follow it. It sort of doubles back on itself and then goes further into the forest, into the thickets, through the trees. You do find signs of, at one point, with your checks from before being more than sufficient, I would say the three, who, Tallfellow and Arcos, again, Youngbloods was a little low. Actually, no, even though you were even, no, DC-10, I think you all would have seen it. Once there's a certain part during the trail where you all see it plain as day, drag marks. Drag marks are sizable, comparable to maybe human dwarf, who knows, but they're definitely something's being dragged through here, and recently, and it leads in a specific direction. You continue to follow. You eventually come to almost a clearing. And I need to put some tokens on here so you guys can see what's going on. Second. Do. You find a small creek. Move you around a little bit here. Do. I'll run off some descriptions and stuff here first before you move anywhere. But you find yourselves now seemingly staring at the mouth of a cave, almost like it's a river, but it's a small creek and it's sort of flowing from the cave, not to, which is kind of odd. Quick second here, guys. The trail sort of peters out, and you can, as you're looking around this particular area here, you can see footprints in and around the edge of the river, the small river, and all through this area here as well. You can see visible footprints, large thickets across the other side, really hard to see through, but you can definitely hear noises coming from inside this cave mouth where you are currently. So I'll turn it over to you at this moment.
Right. Well, I think we're all agreed that this cave here is probably full of goblins. And I know that generally speaking, goblins seem a little bit dumb, a little bit smelly, and a little bit crude, but they can be pretty cunning if you're not watching where you're going. And I'm sort of like walking backwards as I'm talking them.
How's this, Arcos? You go have a look for us. See what you can see.
I feel like you're trying to get me killed, but I will go because that's what I'm good at.
Yeah, be careful there, bugs.
Just out of curiosity, how loud is this conversation? Is it normal talking volume? Is it a hushed?
I probably would say normal.
Yeah, I think Arcos would be brash enough to be reasonably loud in his description of how goblins are.
Okay, just for context. So, Arcos, what are you about to do?
I'm about to try and stealth my way across this rather, well, it's not a large body of water, but, you know.
Looking at it, you can see that it's not deep, maybe 3 or 4 feet in places, probably bottoming out to 5 feet in others. But it's not a river, raging torrent river. It's a relatively shallow, slow flowing.
Yeah, but I'm only 3'4", so
I mean, you can see where it's shallow enough for you to cross easily enough. I mean, even without a perception check, you can definitely. You're not that silly.
so I try and be quiet, even though I wasn't being quiet before.
Okay, roll. Mind you guys, I think I'll hold your stealth checks from before. You guys rolled pretty good, except for who. But an average stealth check is pretty good. We'll hold those for now because they seem fitting for this. So move yourself where you are wanting to go. Just bear
I
in
can't
mind these.
see anything except for the river.
Why can't you see
Yeah, I'm the
anything?
same.
Yeah, I can see the water.
Is it nighttime already?
Let me just double check here. That shouldn't be nighttime. I probably have set it for nighttime just to. Let's have a look here.
Well,
Maybe I
can see
did
the
set it for
river.
nighttime. Yes, I did. My bad.
Wow.
So now you should be able to see stuff. Maybe.
Might have to refresh.
Because I can see stuff from your tokens. Oh, hang on. Have you got dark vision?
No. Don't
So
believe
why
so.
can't you see stuff? It's daytime. Hang on. Let me check my configuration to make sure I've got this set right. Lighting.
Oh no, I refreshed.
I
Now
fixed
it's
it.
upset with me.
Now you should be good.
Now it's
Yep,
nighttime.
I can see now.
It's daytime. I didn't have the daytime restriction on it.
Nighttime.
Now you should be good.
I still can't see anything except where I've moved. It's leaving a little trail.
Which is weird, because I'm clicking on your token and I can see the whole map.
Yeah, it's strange. I can see it on the stream, obviously, but yeah.
Why? I mean, you should be able to see it. It's daytime and you have unrestricted vision.
Yeah.
Try refreshing it again. Try
Refresh.
reloading it, yeah. Because even on stream, the stream can see everything as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had a general idea where I was going to go, but
Yeah, it's just weird that,
yeah.
yeah, that's odd that you can't see it, yet I can see it while I'm holding your token.
No, there we go.
There we go.
It's
Right.
fixed.
Let's technical difficulties, chat. This is what happens with virtual stuff, but we'll get there. I'll move this up a little bit so the chat can see it. So, is that roughly where you're going to put yourself? Or are you going to cross over?
Sort of like, yeah.
Yeah, so that's about as far as you can get with the thickets, because those thickets are super thick.
Yeah.
Like, you do get to there, however, and you do hear the mutterings of, you're not entirely sure how many, but a little bit of a conversation backwards and forwards in a language you do not understand, unless you speak Goblin.
No, I don't.
So you just hear the mutterings, and it's in that sort of, and there's these grunts and groans and mutterings, and they seem to be arguing backwards and forwards. At this point, it's kind of heated.
Yeah. I sort of turn around to the others and make a symbol, like baseball symbols, and sort of try and get them to go to the mouth of the cave, like whether that makes sense to them.
So Xanxus, you've got a advantage, I believe, in the chat. Yeah, advantage to Xanxus. We've got a inspiration to evil and to Youngblood and to Who and to an advantage to Arcos. So mark those down, guys. The inspiration for Youngblood and for Who. Arcos and myself have an advantage, and I think Xanxus, you have an advantage as well. Remember, guys, you got to use them.
Your advantage, DM, is specifically designed to hinder me.
Who said that? Is that what they said?
I only use it on trashy.
Who said that? Oh, did Sticks say that? Because Sticks is the one who's giving it.
Raven.
Oh, Revan
Nah,
did one
Revan.
as well. Ah, okay.
Yeah. So
Alrighty.
you have 2 advantages.
I got 2 advantages then. Sweet.
And
Done.
one of
So
them
I'm
has
gonna-
to be investment.
I'm gonna move up.
So yeah, so you see Arcos doing something, making some motions. You get the
Can I do a
impression.
performance check?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
See if it makes any sense.
I mean, I'd probably get these guys to do an insight check, or a perception, but I'm not worried too much about that. I mean, it's obvious that you're probably calling them over, but you're trying to make. Yeah, it's pretty good. I would say that they would understand somewhat that you're calling them over and telling them to be quiet. Like,
Young blood will slowly move across, try to stealth.
so yeah, if you are trying to stealth, I will need a stealth check from you. Actually, no, I won't. I'm going to hold your stealth check from your previous. So you guys are still pretty stealthy because you've been remaining stealthy from that time. So don't worry about re-rolling another one. So you can move up. And as you move closer to where Arcos is, you also start to hear this almost like bickering back and forth. Does any of you speak Goblin? I don't think any of you do.
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Indeed,
I do.
you do.
I speak 4 languages.
Who? You would hear these 2 goblins fighting over what seems to be just a scrap of meat. It's like one's going, I saw it first, it's mine. And he's going, fuck off, you did. I'm the one that cooked it, it's mine. And the one that sort of was going, it was mine, he goes, well, we're supposed to be keeping an eye out anyway. What? Can you see anything? Can you hear anything? And he sort of sniffs the ear and he's munching on something. He goes, nope. And just carries on chewing on whatever he's got. And this goes backwards and forward. They don't even seem remotely interested or even care that if anyone's there.
Yeah, I let everybody know that they're having a bit of a discussion about a piece of meat that both of them want to eat at the same time.
Yeah, obviously
They're a little
in a
bit
hushed,
distracted from
would
what's going
definitely
on.
have to be in a hushed tone.
In a hushed voice. Yeah, in a hushed
Because
voice.
yeah, they are within earshot of you. So if you keep it quiet, you'd be okay to do that. And
Can
obviously
we
from your
hear-
position, you can see sort of down inside the tunnel there. You'll only be able to see about this fast, so take no notice of that goblin down there, because once you get in there, I'm going to dim the lights out because it will get dark. But you can sort of see into the first portion of this cabin where the light falls. You can hear wolves as well. Also the sound of chains sort of dragging on stone from within this cabin as well. From your position. What are you going to do, gentlemen?
Can we hear how many goblin voices there is? I'll kind of see it. Kind of hear how many.
Roll a perception check for me. I mean, you know there's definitely 2. But if you wanted to sort of know beyond that, yeah, you'll need a perception roll.
Sorry, I've forgotten how to do it without the character sheet.
It's all right, I can bring it up on here to make it easier for you from the chat. Just roll that one from the chat.
Yep.
I love that thing. It makes rolling so much easier. 14. That's pretty good. So you got a pretty good idea, pretty solid idea that it's just the 2. Now, and they're definitely arguing backwards and forwards, and who is translating quietly as they're doing, and they're just going backwards and forwards, arguing over this meat, and they're supposed to be on guard duty, and they don't really care. At one point, you hear the word human, who was kind of hushed, but you hear the word human during this conversation as well. And you know that Sildar What is human?
Is human. Yeah.
Arcos is going to round the corner. I feel a bit hungry, fellas. You think I could have some of that?
Ah! What's that? Fuck
It's
me,
just
it's a
me,
rabbit.
mate. It's fine. It's fine, mate. It's just me.
He's got two goblins. One's a little shorter than the other. The taller one turns and looks at you and goes, I like rabbit stew. And readies himself for a fight. I will give you guys an advantage on your first attack, as I would say, as you've rounded this corner, Arcos, you've definitely given these guys a start. So we are going to go into an initiative here. I'll get you guys to roll initiative. Just waiting on Who and Youngblood to roll initiative. Here we go. Tall fellow. So Xanxus, you get the jump on initiative here. Your first attack, whatever you decide to do, will be at advantage. You cannot see enough through the thicket to attack them from where you're at, so you will have to round the corner to see them. As I said, your very first attack will be at advantage.
Is that far enough?
Well, you're right next to him. He's right there.
There we go.
Just remember, if you're going to attack something with ranged from where standing right next to them, it will be at disadvantage.
No, I'm going to do something a little different.
That's all right.
Maybe. I'm going to do shocking grasp.
Which does hit. And as you release the electrical charge, you reach out and you grab the goblin by a shoulder and you release that electrical energy into his body. And it's like, ow! What the? And he just sort of stands there. That you can see he's sort of dazed there for a second. Bonus action, movement, or you've used half your movement to get to there.
I'll
Do you have a bonus
leave
action?
it as is.
Leave it as is. So, Youngblood, it is now your turn. You've heard the goblins, you've heard Arcos peer around the corner and say something, and you've seen Xanxus disappear around that corner too. But technically you can't see these guys behind here, just so you're aware.
Yeah.
This is all super thick. So you need, if you're going to attack, you're going to have to go right round and get past your friends. Do so.
I can talk to everyone too, can't I? Like,
What's that, sorry?
I can talk to people.
Yeah, you can talk as a free action, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we should keep one of them alive, get some information, see what's going on in there.
So you've still got movement and stuff if you want to use it. Otherwise, you can hold an action, or you can just pass. It's up to you. Okay, cool.
I'm going to attack this one. Is it gonna work?
So you're going to attack that one. So you'll need to attack that one with a bow, or you need to get closer because your whip won't reach that far.
Okay. How much? Can I move a little bit closer?
Yeah, you can move past your friends. This is the thing about D&D combat. You are able to move past your friends.
How much movement had left?
You got 30 feet, so you got heaps.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
so
get
target
him.
him.
I'm just gonna wrap it around him and try to tie him up.
So you're gonna try and restrain him. Okay, so we're gonna
restrain him. So yeah.
Yep. So no need for an attack here. I will do something here, and we're gonna do a contested strength check because it's gonna be his strength versus your strength. So yours will be at advantage. Okay. So roll from the chat there. It'll give you the option to roll at advantage. You do so. You grab your whip and you just give it a quick flick, and it wraps around the goblin's body. And you grab it with the other hand. You grab him up and restrain him. He is now restrained.
Yeah, I'm gonna end my turn there. As I yelled out, I think we should keep one to interrogate, so I've kept that one to interrogate.
I'm just gonna find my restrained.
And that's my turn.
No worries. I have a restrained. There it is. So he is now restrained. That is your turn. So next up is him. He is going to try and break free with a strength check of his own. He's struggling. He's, let me go! Man, you're big. He is going to make the roll, and he cannot get out. He's struggling, and you just wrap up tighter, hold on to him. He will attempt to call out in Goblin though. I will give you a reaction to try and stop him. So you've got sort of two hands on the thing. What are you going to try and do to stop him from calling out? Youngblood.
I'm going to risk holding the whip one hand to cover his mouth.
Okay, that might give him an advantage on the strength check in his next turn. So for this point in time, you've covered his mouth and stopped him from calling out. His friend here is sort of struggling, looking backwards and forwards. It's now his turn. He's going to attack you, Xanxus, as you're the one that attacked him, and he's not happy about it. He's looking at you. He's smoking a little bit, a little singed around the edges. And he draws a scimitar and attacks, doing 3 points of slashing damage to you as he just drags it across your chest. Well, probably across your belly because he's a little bit shorter than you. But he does manage to strike there. Who, it is now your turn with Arcos on board. You can hear all this going on. You can't see what's happening from where you are, but you can definitely hear a little bit of a struggle going on behind these thickets.
I don't want to walk through this water because of my feathers, so I'll
Okay.
launch quickly across and get to.
Well, you got a
here.
flight. You've got a flight speed, so you're fine.
It's hitting the wall.
Just move yourself with your keys. You'll be fine. So you're now able to see through your companions and that you have range on these creatures. You can see that this one here, Youngblood, has wrapped up with his whip and has restrained. Has got his hand over his mouth, trying to keep him quiet. And you can see this one's not looking too healthy. He's looking a bit singed around the edges.
Okay. The one that's in front of Blue Boy.
Roll your attack.
Inventory. It helps if I'm in the right one. Gonna shoot my crossbow.
Go for it. Ooh, I think that might miss. It does.
It definitely does.
Lucky it was a natural one, or you might have shot Blue Boy in the back. But so unfortunately, your shot misses, goes slightly wide, just missing Blue Boy in the process. Although he's got his back to us, he probably doesn't realise too much. But is that your turn, Who?
I don't have two options for attack, do I? So
No, level 1, you've only got one attack
no, it's
action.
only the one.
Yeah, you might.
So
have
yeah,
a-
I'm gonna hold.
You're
I'm gonna wait there.
You're gonna wait there. No worries.
Yep.
Arcos, it's now your turn. You can see this dude in front of you. You can squeeze in between your two companions there easily enough. You're small enough. Don't move. You're sort of right where you are, but you're able to attack
Yeah.
that creature easily enough.
Which of these goblins has the meat?
Well, the meat is now on the ground because this dude over here had it, and when Youngblood wrapped him up, he dropped it.
Oh well, it'll still be good. So sort of slide in the side of Youngblood and sort of backhand the dagger, try and backhand the dagger into this goblin here.
No worries. Target your
My
foe and attack away, good sir. That missed, I think.
Yeah, it's 11.
It did. It missed, unfortunately. Couldn't quite reach. He saw you coming and sort of sidesteps, and you catch just the side of the makeshift bits of leather scrap that looks like he's stitched together with bits of twine to make a piece of armor.
All right, offhand then.
Bonus action offhand attack. Go for it. Again with the miss.
And then the D4 hit it and went to a 20. At least for my visual, anyway.
Yeah.
Bugger.
So yes,
probably say that
unfortunately,
too.
yeah, he sort of looks and goes, "Ah, that was close." With that, is that your turn, Arcos? Indeed, it is.
It sure is.
Door boy, Xanxus, your turn.
Shocking grass.
You're in the shocking grasp again. You reach out to grab the goblin again, ready to release your static charge. And again, you hit him, dealing exactly enough damage.
So what I wanted to say is, with him hitting me with his scimitar, I used both my hands on his head.
I see.
Shocking grasp.
Okay. So you reach down, both hands on his forehead. You grab him, not unlike, say, Magneto may grab someone, and just you release your static charge through his brain, and you hold it there, and he's sort of shaking in your hands as both his eyes explode as the static charge connects between your two hands, and he goes limp in your arms. You just release him, and he slumps to the ground, dead. With this, the other goblin squirming under your arm, in your whip and under your hand there, Youngblood's going. His eyes are wide in fear. Excuse me. And with that, is that your turn, Xanxus? You can move, or you can stay where you are. Up to you. You can see the wide-eyed panic on the eyes of this goblin as you approach.
And I end my turn.
No worries. Youngblood, it is now your turn. You have him restrained still. You've got your hand over his mouth, stopping him from talking. What are you doing?
I'm gonna talk to the team. So do you all agree? Should we keep this guy alive a little bit, at least try to get some information out of him? He's scared as shit anyway. You think you might get something out of him?
Oh, we kill him anyway. I don't care.
And he's still
Well, we'll definitely kill him.
squirming, and he's trying to get out, and he's.
But I think we should get some information, see what we're getting into the cave. Who speaks Goblin, maybe get something.
So, I'm gonna start conversing with this creepy little creature.
So what we'll do for all intents and purposes, we will pause the combat music at this point. We will remain in an initiative at this moment, but for all intents and purposes, we're no longer in combat. Does not appear that the two goblins were able to alert anybody else. You do not hear anyone else coming at this point. The trickle of the creek nearby can be heard. The sounds of the wolves can still be heard from inside the cave, but again, not super close. So we'll drop out of initiative order, but we'll keep it here at the moment just in case anything happens. But I'll turn it over to you guys. So what are you going to say to this goblin?
I'm going to tell him that if he doesn't give us the information, we'll just cut his little head off. We want to know if there was a dwarf and a human brought in here by them.
So talk to him, like ask him the questions. He's not going anywhere.
So did you bring the orc and the dwarf and the human through here, or your friends?
Don't scream, or you're
I
dead.
think you need to uncover his. Uncover his.
I will get JJ. Youngblood, can I get you to roll that intimidation check for me, please? It's not bad. I mean, he's pretty scared already, but he looks at you and goes, just nods his head. So do you release your hand from his mouth?
Yes.
And he's looking around wide-eyed. He doesn't call out, and just looking around all of you. And he looks over at you, who in Goblin says, human, yes, Goblin, dwarf, I don't know, don't kill me, and closes his eyes, waiting for someone to stab him.
So what's inside the cave? What if we go in here? What are we looking at? What's in there? How many?
Goblins, wolves, I don't know.
Goblins, wolves, I don't know. I think you might want to pop his head, Youngblood.
I don't mean nothing about it. I don't know. I'm just a sentry.
Oh, savage.
Don't tell me anything.
And rules of close combat, Blue Man. Jesus. I've got goblin goo on me. And I walk up and I pick up the meat off the floor and I stick it in my mouth. And has he got a tattoo on his neck, this goblin?
Roll. You don't even need to roll a perception check. I think he's restrained. So, are you wanting to have a good look? So turn his head from side to side.
Yeah.
Give a good look. You sort of push. You don't push past Youngblood. You sort of step in and grab his head, tilt it to one side, and you have a good look. And yeah, here's the same marking, just on the base of his neck behind his right ear.
Yeah. So, grab my dagger out and I start sticking it in where the.
I told you, don't know. The humans inside. I don't know where.
Might have outlived his usefulness.
Yeah, I think so. He's not really giving us a lot of information.
Last chance.
I swear, it's all I know. And he's you can see he's really struggling with whether giving information or not. He does mention a name. He's Clark Boss. So and all you get out is that Clark is maybe the boss of this particular group.
We might have to ask Clark what's in there.
Enough of this.
Youngblood's hanging on to him too, you realise that?
Yeah, it does.
I don't care.
So you shock him. I would say you're not going to do any damage to Youngblood, but Youngblood, you feel the shock as well, because you're hanging on to him, and he goes, "Ah, I swear, it's all I know." Smoke sort of sifting off his singed hair with the shock running through.
Will I still be able to hang on to the whip and hang on to him while getting shocked? Or will I
Yeah,
jolt
like I said,
that
you're
go?
not going to take any damage, but it'll definitely shock you. Like, you'll feel the electric charge.
Sure if the jolt block make me jump and maybe let go.
No, it's not. It won't be a huge shock. It's only shocking grass. It's only a cantrip, so it's not massive. and it's going through him direct. Like he's being targeted. You're just getting a sort of a residual, like an electric fence almost, but it's just a little bit more constant.
I don't care you did it, but it's morning.
You see him sort of trying to count, and you get the impression he doesn't know how many. Like, you get the impression he's not even intelligent enough to count how many goblins may be inside. That's the impression you get just by looking at him. He looks genuinely sort of confused when you ask him how many. He just knows that there's goblins inside.
Are we killing them or what?
I would say that would be he's hurting. He's hurting big time.
Arcos will stick the dagger in.
And just end his life.
Put him out of his misery.
And Arcos steps forward.
I was enjoying myself, okay?
Yeah, just as you release that second shocking grasp, and Arcos just steps forward and slowly pushes the dagger into his left eye. You hear that faint sort of popping sound as the eyeball bursts, and into it you hear him sort of scream, like not so much scream, it's sort of like, "Ah!" And then in an instant he's limp in your arms, Youngblood.
Let's just drop him.
And we will mark him as dead, and we will end our combat. And we will assign some XP as well. So, again, out of the initiative order now, you have 2 dead goblins sitting outside here. The trickle of the water can be heard. Obviously still, you don't hear any more commotion from inside the cave at this point. You do hear the sound of the walls, and I said the dragging of chain across stone, which is relatively close. So you get the impression maybe, I mean, the walls could be chained up, you don't know.
So we have some goblins, wolves, and a boss. Don't know how many. And it's definitely in there.
Yeah, and he said a human. He seemed very confused.
Yeah, very. Human, dwarf, don't know.
Who? I will get you to roll for me in just 1 second. Because you speak Goblin, I'll get you to roll that history check for me. Ooh, that was almost a 16. Yeah, with a 6, you thought you might have known. You were thinking about it. You think, well, goblins are normally the lowest level of the goblinoid clans, and that's pretty much, you're not entirely sure of the hierarchy, but even with a 6 is pretty low. But you're pretty certain that goblins don't get told a hell of a lot unless it's like a full goblin clan. The fact that he mentioned Clark Boss would suggest that maybe he's not goblin. Could be a goblin. You're not sure.
So
Either way.
I let everybody in the party kind of know my feelings on that. Just that little inkling that I have, and just we might want to visit the boss that he was talking about. Clark might have some information for us in there.
Well, if we're going in, we definitely got to stealth it, I think. We don't know how many people are in there.
I suggest we let the rabbit go in first.
Sadly, he's the smallest, so... Much as Blue Man's an arsehole, he's got a point.
Can't believe you speak that filthy language, Feathers. He must have been about.
I've done a little bit of adventuring.
Yeah, I don't know how you get your beak around it. It's a lot of.
It's all in the back of the throat, my friend.
Ah. Well, since I'm going to be going first, I better be going quiet. And I'll sort of slowly move up the
So,
right-hand side.
Are you all going to go? I mean, you're allowing Arcos to go first, or is Arcos going to investigate on his own before the rest of you go?
I want him to go first. I don't care.
I'll follow him.
I'll follow, but let him be a bit forward.
Okay, so I'll get stealth checks from everybody in a second, and when I find it.
Please, dice gods. Please.
Ooh. Got a couple. Well, they're not bad. Young blood's a little low. Okie dokie. So roll with that. So as far as you know, you guys are fairly well stealthed. Whoever's is it young blood? Whoever's targeting the dead goblins, just detarget that token for me. Thank you. So you can start moving forward if you wish. You are stealthed. Move forward slowly, sort of see what you can see. So Arcos, as you round that first bend, zoom out here for a second. Give you a little bit more detail. So I am going to drop the light in here a bit. As you move in, it will start to get darker because there's not a lot of lighting in here. You notice here to your right several wolves. There's a few uneven steps sort of leading up, probably 4 or 5 feet, sort of in a bit of a jaggy, sort of not carved out way. It seems almost natural. But you see a couple of wolves sort of circling, and you hear that chain drag across the stone as you peek around the corner, and you see that the wolves that you can see, the two that you can see in fact, appear to be tethered to this large rock. No idea how long those chains are, but you can hear that chain drag as they move, sort of walking backwards and forwards. One of them sort of sniffs at the air and then turns, lowers its head towards you, in your general direction. And as it sort of looks in your direction, its ears go back and it growls. You get the impression that it may not have seen you, but it definitely senses something's there.
Well, there's some wolves in here, connected to some chains. I don't want to find out how long they are. Just gonna roll something. Big Green, grab one of those dead goblins for me.
He picks one up.
Easy enough done. They're small, no need for a strength hit. You pick up one of the bodies, you
He'll try to
move your way up.
walk it over.
You move way up to Arcos, easily enough.
Just hawk it in there, see what happens.
So just throw it in, like he says.
Yeah. Again, I will get you to make a strength check for this, just to see how far you can get it. DC wasn't high. It's only a goblin. So you grab it and go 1, 2, hoi, and it lands about here, sort of just on the top of the steps, and you hear the wolves. They growl, they snap, and all of them surge forward and start to munch on the goblin body. If you're wanting to see what I think you're wanting to see, Arcos, I will get you to roll a quick perception check in a second. Get you to roll a perception check there for me, buddy. This is pretty good, and you indeed see that. Looks like Youngblood was pretty on the money with the tossing of the goblin, and the chains pull tight against the rock. Seems that's about as far as those wolves are going to go. All three of them now chowing down hungrily. You can hear the ripping of flesh and the crunch of bone as they all dig in to this fresh meal.
Well, it's not going to take them long, but it looks like they might be the end of their tether. So we might want to move past quickly while they're otherwise occupied. And I'll start to move up slowly.
Okay, continue to move forward.
Can I just ask a question? Grim, what do you use for decision dice?
I used wisdom on that one to see if he'd be smart enough to think about chucking the goblin in.
You can use a d6 as well and make it a 50-50
Yeah,
choice.
no, it's just that it's just this section. That's all I need to make a decision on.
Trying to remember where the coin was, but I couldn't
it should
remember.
be in the macros section. If you go to your macro folders,
Yeah.
it should be coin flip in the macro folder, and you can drag it onto the macro bar. Looks like a crown. Is it like with your dice tray at the bottom of your chat? You can just roll a d6 and go 50-50, 1 to 3, 4 to 6.
Okay.
Or odds and evens, if that's the easiest way to do it. And you just make it a private roll to yourself.
Youngblood will quickly run back, get another goblin, go back and quickly throw it.
Okay, so you got a couple of goblins, which is good.
Probably. So is it self roll?
Yeah, you just go self roll, yeah. And then you can
So you
click
got
on
more
that and
time
hit
to
roll,
test
you'll be
things.
good. Yeah, so Youngblood, you go back and grab that second goblin and toss it in with the other, so you might keep them going a little bit longer.
Let's go.
So, what are the rest of you doing? Arcos has moved forward.
I'll keep edging him behind.
No worries. So you move up slowly. Just again, this water's pretty shallow. There's not a lot of depth to it. Arcos, from where you are, even in this low light, you can see here seems to be a steep rise rising up. Reasonably, like, it rises up into darkness. You can't really see much further than sort of that before it disappears into darkness. You do, however, at the very top, if you crept a little bit further forward, you'd see at the very top little flicker of light, maybe from a torch or a fire, perhaps. You just barely see it at the top there. It's quite a steep rise. Further forward up in this direction, you can see a small makeshift wooden bridge crossing over this creek, and you do see, if it's gonna turn on, you do see the flicker of light coming from this area as well.
signs of life to our left, gentlemen. It's a bit steep up this way, but there's a light. And then there's that bridge going across a bit further down. Can't see any goblins or much of anything at the moment. But the place smells of them, I'll tell you that.
It most certainly does. The smell, like obviously the smell of fecal matter was quite strong as you passed the wolf's den as well. The smell of iron in the air with blood also. I'll get you to all make a perception roll for me, please. Got a natural 20 in there. Damn. So, who with a natural 20? Zankus and Arcos both with low rolls. All you can really hear is the water. Arcos has given you some information, and you may be worried about the smell. Like I'd say, Zankus, you're not really too familiar with the smell of fecal matter, and it's kind of like, ugh, that's just not good. Youngblood, you're not unused to nasty smells with your background, your history, but maybe it's just this place makes you feel uneasy, so you're a little bit not focused on other than sounds, other than the crunching of the bones and that the wolves that are behind you are tearing into these two goblins. Xanxus and Arcos. Sorry, not Youngblood. So Arcos, that's probably what's got your focus, is that sound behind you. But also, you probably focus a little bit up ahead, trying to figure out maybe a way to get up this steep passage. Youngblood and who specifically, you can hear footsteps very faintly. Not there, up towards the bridge. Even now and again you hear a footstep, just a footfall. So you know there's something definitely up there. Youngblood, you and who can hear the faint murmurings of voices. Seem to be coming from that direction as well. Can't make out what anyone's saying. It's very, very quiet, like just on the edges. Even and again when the water, the trickle of the water subsides a little bit, you can just catch that sort of murmur of a humanoid type sound.
So how steep is this across the other side? It's walkable.
I will tell you in 1 second. This passage, as you see to your left here, it climbs steeply upward. It's in the shadows. It looks like it's climbable. It's not like super steep, like it's definitely not vertical. It's just a very sort of steep twisting path and into darkness. You'd be able to traverse it. It might take you a little bit to get up there, finding the right footholds and handholds, just to stop you from sliding back down. Looks like a little bit of loose gravel there. Could be noisy. Not sure.
So I'm gonna move around Arcos sorry and Blue Boy to get up here a little bit closer to the bridge.
Okay, so you move yourself just past Arcos there. Seems a little bit preoccupied with this again, with whatever's going through his mind. What are you guys gonna do? Which way are you gonna go?
We've got across there in that walkway, we've got more sounds up that way, and there's something near the head of this bridge up here, guys. So there's one thing there, and there's a bunch of stuff over here. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to go across and up the slope, or try and take over the bridge area?
I was thinking maybe up the slope. Maybe it'll come back round to the bridge. I mean, if you can see, you
I'm
see in the
thinking it
dark,
pro-
can't you, Feathers?
Yeah, I'm thinking it probably will come back around to the bridge. Just
If you can see someone on the bridge, maybe you can take a shot at them. But otherwise, I think the rest of us will have to go up and around.
not seeing anything on the bridge there.
Hmm.
All right, so from here, I'm going to go and like glide across to the opposite side here.
Okay. So you flap your wings. I'm gonna have to get you, sir, to make
Yep.
a stealth roll for me. As you're in this cabin, the flapping of your wings may echo slightly as you lift off and lift your body across. You float. You flap a couple of times to get you that lift, to get you across the water and to the base of this little cabin. And it's not too bad. So you make it across there. As you see, it's probably, looking up the top, we can see that little bit of torchlight up here, or a little bit of light flickering. You sort of guesstimate maybe 12, 15 feet incline. It's not super steep, but it's steep enough that if you tried to just walk up it, you'd probably slide back down with the loose gravel. But you can see just on the sides, it's only about sort of 4 or 5 feet wide. You can see that it's rough rocks. You can see these places you can probably put your hands and feet to help you walk up if you really wanted to go this way.
We could go this way, but it means climbing, guys.
And it would also mean
You're
your
gonna have
stealth
to
checks
use-
will be at disadvantage because of the loose
You're
rock.
going to have to use the walls.
I say we do it.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck it. We hear
Yep.
me and voices everywhere, so I think we're fucked either way, to be honest.
Sounds like a plan.
Arcos, any thoughts?
All right, gentlemen, I'll go with the consensus.
So, one question I need from all is, obviously you want to try and climb this as quietly as possible, yes?
Yeah.
You do know, looking at this hoo, that there is a lot of loose gravel on the floor of this passage. So it's going to be hard to be quiet. Because each time you move, you could potentially knock loose some of this gravel, which would definitely cause noise. So any stealth check that you're going to make is going to be at disadvantage.
Yeah.
So you want to proceed forward?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will get some stealth checks from everyone, but these will be at disadvantage, guys. Wow.
Fucking love
23 at disadvantage. Oh my god, young blood. Arcos, 22 at disadvantage. Sheesh. Like, guys, the only one under a 10 was who?
Yeah, and I get an advantage with mine because of the stealth wing too.
Yeah, so yours would have been a straight roll, but in saying that, actually, what I will do here is I'm going to say yours. We're going to average it out. We're going to average it out with the group, because I think you rolled at disadvantage anyway, which you shouldn't have. You should be rolling normally because I forget about that feathered feet. So I will say that yours is a pass. It'll be borderline, but it's a pass. So I will allow you guys to move yourselves to the top of this cabin. You should be able to, you might have to use your keys to get up there. If you can't get up, let me know and I'll move you up there myself, because it might be easier because of the way the walls run. And just, yeah, move yourself to the sort of just the top. You can back into this passage here, just to get the whole group up there. It makes it easier. but for all intents and purposes, we'll have you all at the top here. So we will move you over here so the viewers can see what you guys can see. Where you currently are, however, you will not be able to see these guys. What you can see is exactly what you see there. You see, sitting around a campfire, several goblins. This one, and this one are sleeping, and you can hear them sort of snoring, and one of them's just sort of, you can hear him sort of slapping his gums as he's sleeping. This guy and this guy, and it appears I think this one are awake. This one looks like he's almost ready to sleep though, but two of them are awake, the rest of them are either sleeping or close to. The room is divided in half. Down here you can see a bit of a rise. It's maybe 10 feet from the ground area, and you can see a rough set of natural stairs leading up to an upper section. So that is what you see. You, as far as you are aware, you have not been seen. They don't appear to have noticed you at this point.
I'm gonna peer in and sort of get an idea of if there's anyone else in that room. Sort of quiet, like.
Yeah. So as I said, this part here is 10 foot high.
Yep.
So you won't be able to see what's above that at this point unless you move sort of much further in. But you've got a rough count. Pretty much, you can see the edge of the room here, so you know that there's nothing more hiding around that corner. So what you currently see is those 6 goblins. As I said, 3 or 4 of them look like they are sleeping-ish. You know, I mean, you've got an idea. Goblins, not hard to kill, but there's a few of them. It's not going to be an easy battle. And you still can't see what's above.
I reckon we're quieting them. We just whispering to the guys is like, I think we need to take him out.
I'll let you guys plan for a moment. Your stealth checks will hold, so I'm assuming you're at hushed tones, keeping your position as secret as possible at this point. You do, however, you still hear from this area above you, you can hear those footsteps now. All of you can hear them. They seem to be wandering backwards and forwards. So for a moment they get closer, then they stop, then you hear them getting further away, and you hear them sort of hit wood and stop, and they come back. So it doesn't appear that they know that you're there and they're not coming all the way there, but you know there's at least one other combatant possibly somewhere close by.
Do we take it
Raven.
or do we try to see what's up more top? Maybe there's less goblins up top. Follow this path around.
If there's one coming in from behind, it's not gonna matter. These are going to be the problem here. If we take anything out up there, it could alert these ones here, and then we're going to have these ones in this room behind us.
Very true.
Maybe we can take out a couple at once before the rest of them wake up. So if we all act as one, I can take this one. You each take one of the other ones.
Okay.
We
Well,
gotta hurry.
I can get this guy here. Just inside the door.
That is,
Yeah, so
that's
ping,
kind of what.
yeah, ping the ones that you're talking about.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the ping that you put on. So.
I think Arcos was going to ping this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, I'll go.
Okay, so we've got Arcos wants to attack this one. We've got on that one there for
Me.
who? So, which one trash are you going to attack, perhaps?
I can do 3 if I use fork
But
lightning.
can you kill all 3? That's the question.
No, but if I roll high enough, they'd be nicely injured. 1d6.
I think the plan here is to kill them outright if you can.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You do what you think you do what you think Xanxus would do. But I'm just sort of, I think that was the idea of the plan. That's the guess that I'm getting.
Yep, take as many out as possible.
Which ones were awake again?
This one.
Yep.
And this one.
Yep.
And this one, but he looked like he was drifting off. So the rest are asleep.
I thought it was that one drifting off.
Either way, one of those two.
Alright. If you can get a shot on ones that are awake, it's good. But I'm pretty good with this dagger, and I'll go to move forward and stab him, and hope that the rest of them are gonna.
So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna before we go into initiative, we're gonna resolve this attack in a slightly different way. Normally, with a surprise attack, we roll initiative, you get advantage and all that good stuff, but it could still screw with the initiative order. Because you guys have planned this, Youngblood, which one were you going to attack? Have you?
He'll stay. Because there's only really need attack 2. He'll stay back because he can't really stealthily attack.
Okay, so you got 3 targeted out of the 6. So you're going to hang back a little bit.
Yeah, just make sure that because he doesn't think he can kill him outright with his weapons and stuff.
No worries. No problem. So you're going to hang back a little bit. So what we're going to do is the 3 that are going to attack outright. I'm going to first ask you, each of you, what you are going to do specifically. So Arcos, what is your intention? How are you going to attack this sleeping individual?
I'm gonna try and come around the front and slit his throat.
Okay, so you're going to try and get up to him without alerting the others and slit his throat. Cool. So what I'll get from you, actually no, I think you guys are fairly stealthy, so yours is fairly high. We'll hold that. You got a 22 stealth. I would say you're going to be definitely okay to do that. Pooh, what was your intention? How were you going to attack your individual?
I'm going to total the dead him.
From where you are?
Yep.
It's ranged? No problem. And Xanxus, what was your intention?
Well, I was going to do fork lightning, but I've used a crossbow on that one that I've targeted.
If you want to use fork lightning, you can. It's up to you. I mean, doing...
It's not going to kill... It won't kill him, though. That's the only problem. Not outright.
It's still up to you what you want to do. Like, regardless of what your team is suggesting, if you think that Xanxus would use fork lightning, then use it.
Yeah, he would. He would.
There you go. Then. So, I mean, so it's up to you. So, for all intents and purposes, this is going to happen simultaneously. You're going to count down, you're going to go 3, 2, 1, and you guys are going to attack. But we're going to resolve this one at a time, just for story's sake and for just so it doesn't get a bit messy. So, Arcos, target your individual. All I want you to do is roll to hit. I mean, just you roll your normal attack with your dagger. I'm not worried about the damage so much here. I just want to see if you can. If you miss him, you can't really miss him. This is the thing. Should have got you to roll at advantage. Roll it again. Because he's asleep. Oh god, that's worse.
I was gonna say I could try.
You can try. Unfortunately, did you have? Or you had an advantage? Or no,
Oh yeah, I did.
Or an inspiration? Because their
I
AC
had
isn't
an
that high.
advantage.
So,
All right.
So re-roll that attack. We'll use your advantage again. That would definitely hit.
Yay!
And it says that he's bloody, but what we're going to do here is, because he's asleep and he can't defend himself, and your stealth is relatively high, I'm going to say that And this is the whole thing that I don't like about D&D 5e. Just so we don't say something. There is no caveat for this in 5e for walking up to someone asleep and plunging a dagger into their neck, which would kill anyone generally outright. So that's exactly what's going to happen here. Because you guys planned it, I'm going to reward you for the planning more so than the attack to hit or anything like that.
Just a question: wouldn't sneak attack come into that?
It certainly would. So you'd be able to
Can
add
you
your
roll
sneak
that?
attack damage on top of that as well. So roll your sneak attack, sir. Keep forgetting you're a rogue. So I believe you can roll the dice from your sneak attack itself as well. And there you go. So with a swift movement, you step forward, slicing from ear to ear. You look up to see if anyone's looking. Seems okay. At that precise moment, you release your Toll of the Dead on your target with
I do have
advantage.
an inspiration I have as well.
Yeah, so roll the advantage first.
Okay.
Well, it's a wisdom saving throw, so it'll be a disadvantage for him. So don't worry about that. Which one was you targeting? This one, right?
That one there, yep.
So we'll roll a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage. And I'm going to give him a -1. Oh yeah, he did. He fucking failed that miserably. He failed that really bad. So he's dead as well. So I don't know why it didn't make him bloody. I think Toll the Dead is just being a pain in the ass, but he is dead. So the second one is definitely dead. I can adjust that to make him dead. And obviously at the same time, Xanxus, you release your forked lightning, so you can target more than one.
I can.
Yeah, you just target it. You should be able to target more than one.
How do I?
Shift target, maybe. Shift Alt. There you go.
Now, it says up to 2, so.
So that you can only do 2 targets. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you got to roll to hit on each target. Natural 20. Holy shit! They hits them both. They are both dead. Well done. Holy shit! With a natural 20.
Ouch.
As you step forward, all of you. I mean, Arcos steps forward, runs his dagger across the goblin's throat, ending his life in an instant. The Toll of the Dead rings out in this goblin's mind, which does not make a sound to anyone else. His head just reverberates with psychic energy, and he drops to the ground. The lightning cracks out through this cavern, destroying the other two. Smoke coming from their now lifeless bodies. This guy, who was on the verge of sleeping, perhaps, sort of goes and stands and sort of sees people in front of him. This one's starting to stir. So I'll get Arcos to move yourself to where you would be now, because now we will be going into initiative.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's alright, that's good.
So Arcos would have been right up here next to that dude. Xanxus, and we'll put who sort of there. Youngblood was back there somewhere. Need to add you guys all to a combat situation. And we will roll initiative. Having a little bit of a slowdown on the foundries, but it'll catch up. No, someone else got a natural 20 on the initiative. Well, that looked like it might have been a goblin. So with that, Arcos, as you step in, and with this all this sort of happening at once, you sort of glance up, and with the noise, someone steps forward, and you can see what looks to be a larger creature stepping forward, looking down. Boy, what the? Fucking kill him! And we'll start our initiative once again when I find my music. Where is my battle music? Here we go. So, back in the initiative order here, the goblin. This goblin gets the initiative, but he is half asleep. So he is not going to get his movement. He's not going to get an attack at all. He's sort of going to be waking up, sort of seeing what was going on, sort of bleary-eyed, looks up and says, oh, what's going on? And that'll be his turn. Who? You're up. Arcos, you're on board.
Okay, I'm going to get closer to him. I'm going to use my mace.
No worries. I will give you advantage on this attack too, because he is prone. He was lying down. So, alt-click on your mace to get the advantage on this attack. Make sure you target him first.
Oh, hang on.
Double teens. It does hit him, however. Or does it? Did it hit him? No, it didn't. Missed. Unfortunately, even with the advantage, you slam your mace down and he rolls to one side and it slams down into his bedroll. He sort of looks up at you and giggles. Missed me. Is that your turn? Ooh.
Yep, that's my turn.
Arcos, it is now your turn. With Youngblood, you're on board.
God, I'm gonna regret this. Oi, Big Green, have you ever heard of the fastball special, mate? I'm gonna get you to throw me. Which is probably completely ridiculous, but I'm like, that's cool, man. That's cool.
So, okay, because it's your turn, you're gonna use your free action to your free action to ask Youngblood to throw you. So you're gonna hold your action until he throws you.
I'm gonna hold a dagger action. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna hold it until he throws you. That's cool. I like it. So you're holding your action. Youngblood, Arcos has asked you to throw him at the enemy. Do you oblige?
Yes.
I'm not even gonna ask for a strength check on this because he is smaller than you. He's about the same. He's a little bit taller than a goblin, but easy enough to pick him up and throw him 10 feet, which is pretty much the distance between you and them. So I'm assuming it's the one lying down or the one further forward you want to go for, Arcos.
Kind of wanted to get the one on the top bit.
But up the top. Ah, okay. So you want to get him thrown up there. So that will be a strength check because you got to go up 10 feet. So no need to move at this point because we're just gonna do this. So Youngblood, can I get you to roll that at advantage, please?
Oh my god!
You do have, I believe, you have a D10 that you can use from the chat. So in your dice tray down the bottom, find the D10 and roll that as well. Oh, it's just one, but we'll take the 7, which will be enough because that'll give you 14. So with a 14, Arcos, you are launched forward and you land just on the edge. You have to scramble a little bit, but you pull yourself up with the remainder of your movement.
Sorry, mate. Bit heavier than I thought.
Yeah, so we'll put you about... Oh, went too far. Go back, son of a bitch. There. So I would say you're just out of range. Or no, you're pretty much sort of right there, aren't you? Fuck it. Make your attack. You're within range.
So less elegant than he thought it was going to be. But
Yeah,
you know.
he's definitely sort of grabbed the edge and sort of pulled himself up and lunged forward, which does hit him
Oh,
with a, which is pretty good. It does. My chat is not keeping up with the rolls though.
Yeah, it's been a bit like that all night, I think.
Yeah, I might just do a quick refresh. Let's do a quick reload here. So you guys might have to reload as well. Just we'll have to see. It does get like that sometimes. I've got a lot of shit going on in Foundry. Do. And it's still a little behind, but oh well. If it's behind, it's behind. No big drama. But it definitely hit him, and it definitely did damage because I saw that take it off his health. And he cries out, "Rrr! Fucking kill you!" Is that your turn, Mr. Arcos?
Well, it'd be Youngblood's turn. I held my action to stab him.
Youngblood, sorry. I should have switched. So, yeah. So that was your... That would have been your action. So I'll give you movement and a bonus action if you want. You still got a couple of targets here. So I don't think you have anything you can do as a bonus action. Let's have a look here. No, not really. So what are we going to do? You can move further in. Up to you.
No, just stay where I am.
So we are. No worries. Not a problem. So that will be this guy's turn. As he turns to you, Arcos, and just grimaces at you. He draws his scimitar and strikes. Which I believe misses. What's your yeah, it does. Misses with a 13. Or it doesn't. The hell, maybe that took ages.
Well, my AC is 14, but
yeah, it hit with a
now.
17. Yeah, it didn't look like it rolled. It got there in the end, but it got you. So it hit you with a 7.
Hey.
As he drags his scimitar across your upper body from sort of shoulder down your chest, and then he just growls at you. He's not looking too shit hot himself, just so you're aware. Next up is this goblin's turn, who is going to target you, Youngblood. He's going to attack you with a short bow. That one won't hit. It is his turn. So, Zankus, it's your turn.
So I will be. Hang on. I want that up. Give me that. Thank you. I'm going to target you and you. No. I want that. I'm going to do that and that.
Are you going to target? You can't target that one. He's too far away.
No, he's not.
He's too far away from your original target. Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
30 feet from each other.
Yeah, I don't ever like book lightning for that, because that means you can hit targets that are miles apart. I mean, 30 feet is a huge amount.
All right, fine. I'll do that.
Sorry, Trash. Yeah, 30 feet. If you're going to strike two targets, one 30 feet away from you and then one 30 feet away from him, that's a 60-foot range on the target when the thing only has 60 feet total anyway.
Fair enough. So yeah, I'll target those two.
Hold up. Hold up. Let me have a look at something here. No, you are right. It's got a 60-foot range total, so you should be able to target both of them. The furthest away one.
Go back to that then. All right.
Apologies, I read that wrong. And they take 3d6 damage each, I believe, on a hit.
Tubes.
Which is, again,
Sorry.
this is why I hate forked lightning, which is probably why I'll never allow anyone to use it ever again.
What?
But
Sorry.
but it is what it is. Another forked lightning streaks out from Xankus, destroying 2 more goblins and this seemingly larger goblin. I don't know if any of you have probably not seen a hobgoblin. Maybe you have. But he's dead anyways, doesn't matter. It is now the last goblin's turn. He's finally stood up and is looking around. He's not looking too happy about being here alone. He can't really get past you guys without dying, and he knows it, so he's gonna fight it out because that's what he's gonna do. He's going to strike at you, Youngblood, with his scimitar. I hate forked lightning, I really do. Natural 20 on his attack there. Let's see if it's actually gonna roll this thing. It's gonna catch up eventually. There it goes. Oh shit. 8 points of damage. Youngblood is not feeling good. He has taken a rather large blow. But that is his turn over. Who? It is your turn.
Alright.
You got the last goblin right there. In this particular instance.
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna toll the dead him.
Toll the dead him? No worries. Toll his dead.
Toll he's dead. Incoming.
And I got to roll a wisdom save yet, so
Probably not.
saving throw normal. Oh, that was a failure.
Dong.
So why is that not applying the damage? That's what I want to know. Okay, I need to apply that damage manually. What did you roll? It's not even showing me what you rolled on the damage.
3.
No, it was higher than that. It was on the D12 because he's taken damage already. That's so weird.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hang on. You've been rolling it private. I think that's why it's not showing up.
So did it change it? I made it a public roll. I'm sorry. And I must have.
Yeah,
I mustn't have clicked
that was weird.
I must not have clicked it properly. That's my fault. Sorry.
Try, re-roll it. I'll get you to re-roll it. We know it hits, so I'll just get you to re-roll it publicly. Because then I should be able to, yeah, 12 damage. That's what we're looking at. So now I can do this, and...
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good, mate. These things do happen, so 14 damage. It is definitely dead with 14 damage. With that last toll of the dead, tolling out, destroying the brain of this creature. His head almost, you can almost see the blood trickling from his ears, nose, and eyes as the energy, necrotic energy rips through his body. And that would have us out of initiative, as this happened all in a matter of seconds, and I don't think anyone else would have even been alerted to what has just happened, even with the crackling of lightning in this cavern. I will make one roll over here just to be sure, but I'm fairly certain that you guys are okay at this point. Oh yeah, definitely. So, Arcos, what you see before you is a rather excuse me, sorry looking individual, someone that you know, someone you all know, in fact, as if you all head up here to have a look, you'll see you don't need to move on the thing. I will actually end this before I go any further.
Before I go anywhere, I'm gonna heal myself with a potion.
You do that, so target either select yourself or target yourself, and if you roll the potion from the potion's picture, it should heal you automatically. Here we go.
Ooh, nice.
Nice heal, 7 heals. So with that, you see the human companion of Gundren Rockseeker securely bound, bruised and battered. And he's looking rather weak, like he's not looking good at all. You can see one eye swollen shut. He's got a fat lip, it's split. You can see the clothes that he is wearing are blood streaked, and he just sort of, one eye, his good eye sort of opens up. Who's there?
Oh, well, shit. And I sort of like limp over, like one arm sort of hanging to the side, like I'm pretty rough shape. And I sort of grab off my belt one of the potions, and I look at it. Oh, fucking idiot. And I'll just sort of like, open your gob, you fool. And I'll try and pour the thing down his gullet.
Okay, so I will get you. I think if you target him and then roll it, it should target him.
Yeah, are we doing that D20 thing?
Oh yes, I keep forgetting about that. Roll a D20 for me, JJ.
No.
Nope.
I'll let JJ roll. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, forget, when we do a healing, anything healing, if you roll a D20, it will, and you get a natural 20, it will basically do max heals. So we'll top you up to a max heal, but you didn't get a 20, so it's all good. So yeah, he sort of, as you open his mouth and pour the potion down it, he's coughs and it's you.
Yeah,
it's only
us.
given him a small amount of heals, but it's enough that he recognizes you. Oh. We were ambushed on the road.
Yeah.
I don't know where they took Gundren, but
Somewhere else in this cave, you reckon?
I'm not sure. He tries to sort of stand himself up. And he's still bound. He's sort of trying to push himself up onto his knees.
Let me untie you, but you probably shouldn't get up. Sort of doing that one-handed untie thing.
Takes a little bit.
Could I get some help up here, fellas? I'm a little bit. Don't all rush up here at once.
You don't have to move your tokens at this point. Just you can say you're going up there.
So who is hurt the most now out of our group?
You would be able to physically see that. You don't even need a healing check. You can see that Arcos is looking pretty fucking rough. Like he's taken a pretty nasty blow. Zankus is looking pretty rough too. I mean, you've all taken some damage. Youngblood's looking not too bad. He's taken a potion. He's looking pretty good. But Arcos, Zankus, and Sildar are all pretty worse for wear.
Okay, so for our party, Arcos, I can only use healing word on one character. So it's 1d4.
Yeah, so again, target them and cast a spell, and it should do it automatically.
Oh, I didn't. It was the other one targeted as
still
well.
had the goblin targeted.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all right. He's still dead, so don't worry about it.
I mean, I'm full health, but you should have rolled the D20.
Yeah. So Zangus has taken a potion of healing, which has given him 10, which is max healing anyway, so you don't need to roll the d20 either, because it's already maxed. So Zankus is looking good now. Who's back at full health? Your wounds close over. You manage to untie Sildar, and he sort of stands. You can see that he's not. I mean, he's in his probably late 40s, early 50s. He's not a fighter like he used to be. Obviously, in his heyday, he would have been a strong dude, but he looks still capable. However, he stands, sort of says, "Ugh, filthy fucking goblins ambushed us on the road, on the trail. Oh, should have seen them coming. Should have known. I'm not sure if they brought Rockseeker here, but I need to find they've got my armor and my weapons here somewhere. Can't be too many more left." As he sort of looks down over the ledge and sort of sees the bodies in their differing states of death. Well, it seems Gundren was quite right in his selection. You lot seem quite capable. I thank you. I really do. If we can get to Phandelver, if he's not here, get back to Phandelver. You'll get your gold and then some. We need to get out of here first. I heard.
Question is, do we need to check the rest of the cave to see if the old dwarf is in here?
Hang on, give me a moment. Has anyone got any water? Oh. Part.
Yeah.
And
I'll hand in my
so he takes a swig of water to sort of. You can hear he's got that dry, raspy throat. I mean, he's taken a bit of damage. He sort of sits himself down a little bit again, takes a breath. I heard the filthy little fucks talking about maybe taking Gundren. They had to take him somewhere. It's hazy. We're talking about spider, I think. Black spider. Something the black. I can't remember. Maybe after a bit of rest I can remember exactly. But
yeah.
Clark, is it like a bugbear? Yeah, he rules over these filthy fucks. He's bound to have my gear. He's in here somewhere. It must only be a couple, maybe 3 or 4 left.
Yeah, you're not in any condition to fight, though, are you?
I can hold my own.
Plenty of weapons down there.
I suggest you would go back to the path and wait out the cow.
He sort of looks at you, he sort of stands himself up, and he stands up straight, and you hear his back crack. He sort of straightens himself up, and he's still not looking great, but he looks at you and says, "Son, I've been fighting goblins longer than you've been alive. I'll be alright."
Meh.
And he sort of walks down and he grabs a goblin, just sort of throws it to one side, grabs scimitar, puts it into his belt. Like you can see, like he hasn't got any of his armor or anything on, but he puts it into his belt, and he reaches down to this dude here and grabs the shield that he was carrying. He sort of looks at it and says, "Ain't pretty, but it'll do." lead the way. I think if you go back, they brought me like over a bridge and sort of upper part. If we go back that way, we can probably find this Clark fella. At least get some of the equipment back, my gear. Find out if Gundren may still be here. Possibly. I don't know. And then he sort of stops and drops to a knee. You know what? You may be right. Sort of looks over at you, Zankus, and sort of gives you a bit of a look to say, you prick, you're right. And says, oh, maybe I should just head back.
Cart's back on the road where
I'll meet you back in Phandelver. Come and find me at Stonehill. I'll make sure you get your gold.
Well, fellas, how are we all doing? Big Green looks a bit more red than he did when we came in.
Yeah, I'm alright. I've taken the beat before.
Guess we better go see if this old dwarf's smacking about in here.
I said, Gundren said he'd give you 10 gold apiece to escort the wagon. I'll give you another 10 gold apiece if you can clear out this cave and meet me back in Phandelver.
Alright, you need help getting out, old man.
I think I can manage. I mean, if this he sort of waves at the scene in front, if this is anything to go by, I'm pretty sure you guys can handle yourselves.
Watch out for the wolves as you exit.
All right, yeah. And he picks himself up and sort of slowly makes his way out of the room and disappears. And that's where we'll call tonight's session, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's a good place to pause our story for now, because we do have a little bit more in this cavern to explore. Remember, just as a point of reference to the players, remember you can take a short rest and use hit die if you so wish. A lot of parties do forget about the short rests. I mean, there can be consequences to taking a short rest as well, but it is available for you to use if you so wish. Chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and thank you for putting up with the minor technological difficulties that we have faced. Not too many, which is good. And we will head back to this one over here, though. Before we finish up, we are going to go around our players and get some moments from the evening. Colbert, what's up? Scripsy, how you doing? Revan, thank you for those roles, those advantages and inspirations. I did use them, although in the background, but they were used. And man, there was some moments tonight. There was some good moments, some interesting ones. First, I'd like to apologise to Trash about the Fork Lightning thing. I misread it, so that was my mistake.
Yeah, that happens.
Normally it's the other way around, but I can admit when I'm wrong. So that's awesome. Well done, Trash. I mean, my God, Fork Lightning is... I don't think I'm ever going to allow any of my players to ever have Fork Lightning ever again at level 1. It is such an OP spell at level 1. It is crazy. But it's got a hit to be OP. That's the thing. But at level 1, it is pretty nuts.
I think we made a ruling that we work down to 1d6.
Yeah, I can adjust that for next game. So if you're happy with that, we can reduce its damage down, and we'll scale it up as you level. But for all intents and purposes, I'm not too worried about it. But it is what it is. So
I wasn't expecting the second one to take
Hey, a natural 20 is a natural 20, man. I mean, natural 20s.
No, that was the first roll. The second one wasn't a natural 20, but it's still.
Yeah, well, you rolled pretty high on your damage dice, though. It was nuts. But the automated rolls seem to work reasonably well. I'll get some feedback from you guys about how this new automation worked out, whether you guys enjoyed it. I know you guys were enjoying the way that I was calling for checks and stuff like that. That was actually a really cool mod. I think that's a pretty cool feature, and it does make it way easier and way quicker for you guys to roll your strength checks and things like that, rather than having to open your sheet or open the HUD and go looking for it. It's right there in front of you. You can click on it. It uses your stats. That's not a big issue. So there is that, which is kind of cool. Some of the automations were having a little bit of a problem, but for the most part, I think it worked out pretty good. And it kept the flow pretty well too. We didn't really slow down too much on combat or anything like that. Again, I hope everyone enjoyed the story tonight. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself, always do as a DM. Players seem to enjoy themselves, so we'll find out how much, and we'll go around our players and get some moments from players. We'll do the same as we did last week. We'll get a moment from you about yourself and a moment from another player. So we'll start with Era tonight. Mr. Ercode, a moment that stood out from tonight that specifically involved who? Was there anything that you did, whether it's RP or whether it's an attack, something that stood out that made you feel like you were having a good time, or it just stood out for you about your character?
When Arcos said, "Can you give me a lift?" and I got to give him a lift up the side of the thing there. That was pretty cool. And like I got two others for the game. Is like the way you resolved that stealth section in the cave. Like that was pretty cool.
Oh, the instant death moment.
Yeah, that worked out. That worked out really, really good.
The way that I look at it is, I'd like to reward you guys for planning. Like if you stood back, you took the time and says, okay, these guys are sleeping. Let's take the time and try and take them out quietly and instantly. So to me, if the guy's sleeping, why do you need to roll to hit? You're not going to miss him. You're going to walk up to him and stick a dagger in his neck or whatever you're trying to do. I mean, different with like Toll the Dead and stuff like that, you kind of really need to hit. But I still think you're not going to miss, realistically, because they're not moving.
To have the three of us,
they're asleep.
The three of us do that, and then the outcome that came out, was pretty cool.
Because it would, and the thing is, you planned to do it simultaneously, so why not? I mean, to me,
then it was a toss-up.
It is what it is.
It was a toss-up between JJ and the whip, and when he wrapped the goblin up,
that was a good idea. That was well done.
And Trashy's chain,
the chain
lightning, when it just splat.
Yes, indeed. So a couple of moments. Chat, if you got any moments as well, at Evldoa in the chat, and let me know what a moment stood out from tonight for you. Don't forget to chat. We have clips enabled. ! Clip. If there is a moment that you see in the chat that you want to clip, you're not sure how to use it, just ! Clip, and it'll automatically clip the previous 1 minute of the stream, and that way I can then edit it later on and put them in the gilded for people to see. So we'll go to Youngblood, aka JJ Aussie Punk. A moment from you, something that you did that stood out. Again, whether it's roleplay, action, doesn't matter. Something that you thought that you did well, and then someone from someone else.
For myself, the jokes. I had that planned all day.
Well done.
I was at work, planned it at work. I was bored as fuck and thought about it at work. Had it planned all day.
Mina agrees.
No.
I agree as well. Those jokes, I was like, did you plan that, or did that something you just thought of? Because that was well done.
No, I had it planned all day. I googled it quickly because I forgot to Google it earlier and totally forgot, so I was googling it while we were talking.
That's awesome, dude. Well done.
Probably this is kinda me as well, but Grimm's character asked me to throw him. I thought that was really cool. Wasn't expecting it.
It involved you, but yeah, it's I didn't expect it. We've had dwarf tossing and goblin tossing, but I don't know about Herringon tossing. I mean,
kind of counts, but it's kind of Grimm's ones as well. A lot of really cool things. Trashy lightnings, fucking killing everyone in sight. Love that too. Just a really fun session. Just a lot
awesome.
of act. Yeah.
But as long as you had fun, that's the main thing, JJ. That's what we're looking at. As long as people are having fun. Next up, we'll go with, since you were last mentioned, Xanxus, Mr. Trashman.
Yeah, I'd have to go the herring toss.
The hairy toss. Oh my god.
Yeah. And yeah, I'd have to say for myself, yeah, got to be the fork lightning.
Dude, I know, right? That thing is just crazy.
The only other little one was the death of the first goblin outside. Sorry for getting muck on you, by the way.
Oh, exploding his eyeballs all over Arcos.
Hey, he hit me, okay?
No worries. Arcos puck.
I guess I'll go with something different for me. The bit where I'm up in the tree, because I planned to like chat to one of the goblins, and then who kills the goblin in the tree? And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake! That's what I had to climb back down.
You climb up, it falls out. You climb back down.
Yeah, I'm like, oh god. And sort of that backwards and forth with who on the road. We were talking about the road and the ox, and sort of that back and forth was really fun. I really enjoyed that early on, and JJ's jokes were just that was just on point.
It was great. Well done indeed. Well done to everybody. Again, for me, I'm not going to say anything about myself because I don't have to, because I'm the DM. But for you guys, I said I thoroughly enjoyed you guys' teamwork tonight. The planning of that final battle in the cave, I think that's the one that stood out for me. Is you spent the time planning for it, so which is why I ran it the way I did. Simultaneous attack. I mean, if you'd rolled really badly, then you wouldn't have killed them outright, obviously, and there would have been a slightly different outcome to that. But to me, as a DM, I don't think there's enough. Not sure what the term is. There's not enough focus put on those moments where you've got someone sleeping and you want to go and shank them while they're sleeping. To me, there's a perception. There might be a perception check on their side or a stealth check on your guys' part. The stealth check was good, so to me, I got to reward you guys for that planning as well. And yes, Mina, I agree. Hiding the supplies. The ox might not be there when you get back, but the supplies certainly will, because you hit them very, very well. But that, again, showed planning and thinking about, okay, if we don't get these supplies to Phandelver, we're not going to get paid for their delivery. So if someone steals them, we're definitely not getting paid. Now, it probably up to you guys whether you go back for the supplies or not, because you know you're going to get 10 gold each for meeting Sildar back at Phandelver anyway. So you've now got another avenue to make some gold. So it's up to you what you guys do there. I honestly did not know whether you guys were going to track them and go to the cave, or whether you would go to Phandelver first and then come back. So again, your guys' choice. You made the vote. You made the decision, and I think you've fared reasonably well. You guys got really close to death. I think Trash, Arcos, and who all got down to 3 HP. What did you get down? You were getting pretty close. Yeah, 5?
Yeah, got down. Yeah, got to 5.
Yeah. What did Youngblood get down to? What was the lowest you got to? Did you check?
4 from
Yeah, it was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It was pretty. So when you guys don't have huge amount of hit points, and a natural 20 will hurt, even though I've adjusted it, they hurt a lot. So yes, that was pretty. I think you handled it pretty well. I think lucky for the health potions that I allowed you guys to take. Otherwise, we may not be faring quite so well. But which is half the reason I allowed you to take it, because I knew I mean, this kind of battle, I know how, as a DM, I know how many creatures are in there. I know roughly how it's gonna, more or less how it's gonna play out. I think you've handled it reasonably well. So before we finish up and we go raid somebody, I'm gonna go through our content creators. We all know who Trashman is. Trashman, you guys in the community see Trashman at least once or twice a week on this channel. The VTM and now obviously Lost Minds, and he'll also be in P2 when we come back to that. So Trashman, they're not a content creator but long-time community member and friend. We will then ask Mr. JJ Aussie Punk. We want to let everyone know where you are, where they can find you, and what you're doing, and what's coming up for you content-wise.
Twitch.tv/JJ Aussie Punk, where you can find me. Mostly do my wrestling EFED ABW, which is growing heaps lately. Last few weeks I've gotten heaps. Done a lot of RP lately, so if you like wrestling, like RP, we're doing a lot of cool RP storytelling stuff. Follow me, have a watch there if you like it. I do storytelling games as well. Like I do like them too, but it's mostly the wrestling.
So there we go,
Grim and Evil
guys.
are in it.
There's
They have a lot of
JJ's
fun.
link there. Go check him out. As I said, a lot of WWE 2K22. Loving that over there. Has been a lot of fun. Some really cool matches over there recently too. 2K hasn't been too bad on the 2King of our wrestlers, so it's been actually pretty good. Now I know Mr. Grimm hasn't done it for a while, but we'll get him to do his spiel anyway. I know he hasn't done much streaming, but hopefully he'll come back to it at some point. But Mr. Grimm, you want to let everyone know where they can find you and what you get up to over on your channel.
Yeah, so twitch.tv/Grim Realities. I am on a bit of a break at the moment. I'm waiting for work to sort of settle down so I can get back into it. I mostly play point and click adventures, most of those being from the 90s, but I'm on a bit of a board game kick at the moment. I'm considering maybe doing some board game content in the future. I've given it some thought and how that might work, so that might be something to look forward to.
All right, that'd be
As
pretty cool.
long as it's not Monopoly.
No Monopoly here, man.
Monopoly, yeah, fuck Monopoly. I'm not a big fan either. Monopoly gets so triggering for a lot of people.
Yeah, there's just so many other board games. Once you delve into the sheer scope of it, you wouldn't go back to Monopoly. There's just too many other games that do that sort of feel better in a way that doesn't make you want to flip.
And lastly but not leastly, Mr. Eric Code.
I didn't do it. Yeah, you'll find me over where the link is. Down there, up the top, down there.
Yep.
Twitch.tv.
We got it,
and it's a O. It's a O, as in Oscar, not a zero.
Yeah. O error code, not zero error code.
Error code. But yeah, everyone calls me Error, or late for dinner sometimes. Driving games, bit of Fortnite, some shooty games, a bunch of different stuff. Or if something comes up that's new and we like it, we'll jump on there and have a bit of a game. Come awesome. And say hi.
Definitely go check out these guys. When you see them live, check them out. Hit them a follow. Era's just recently hit 400 followers. Next goal's 500. We got to get them there. So if you do see them over there, make sure you hit them up with a follow. Let's help get these guys get their follow counts up. That's what we do. We share the love. We share the support, and we do the thing and the stuff. Trey Hawk, it has been a little while, dude, but we're doing good, man. We're doing good. We had a good session tonight. No one died. A few people got close, but no one died. So it was always, a few goblins died. Many goblins were hurt or killed in the course of making this show tonight. So I do apologize for any goblins out there that may be triggered. Not really. Goblins are trash. But I don't mean that. I'm not goblinist. I'm really not. Don't cancel me for being goblinist. But we've had a great time.
We did.
But we are going to raid, ladies and germs. Who are we going to raid is the question. If you have someone who's in a cave, indeed.
Who's in a cave?
I am going to switch over to my other PC, however, because Actually, no, I'm not. I'm just going to turn this one off. We're going to go. We're going to go over here. So you guys are going to see this. Who can we raid? People. I don't know who's on. I mean, who's in there, but we need to raid somebody. Armin's doing some Dungeons and Dragons. What's he doing? Let's see who else is doing. Valiant Odyssey's doing Dungeons and Dragons. We have not raided Valiant Odyssey. Valiant bought my Curse of Strahd map pack recently, I think last week. And they're doing Lost Mines of Phandelver, sort of, according to their thing right now. So we're gonna raid these. We're gonna raid these guys. So bear with me while I go over here. You're gonna see all my cool stuff over here. Valiant
Evil,
Odyssey.
don't show everybody how it works behind the scenes, mate. Giving out all the secrets.
Right, we're going to start the raid. I'm going to switch back over here so you can't see that shit. And we're going to say goodnight. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. And we will see you on Sunday for Vampire the Masquerade. Maybe tomorrow for some maps. I don't know yet. But definitely Sunday for Vampire the Masquerade. And then back here next week for maps and more D&D. Bye.